Alright, what is going on, everybody? Hera versus Leery, grand finals of the Holy Cup over here. We will have all 7 games available, or all 7 maps to be precise, in the map pool available to play for the players. So, players who have been cautiously avoiding the map Holy City for some obvious reasons may need to play that one if we go late. You see the civilizations for Hera and Leery over here. We're going to jump into the first game. All of the games are live in here on the finals. And with 20 seconds countdown, it's time to go for game number 1. It's going to be Graveyards, which is the Arabia equivalent, and we'll have a Franks versus Sicilian matchup over here. Interesting. Alright. So, welcome everybody. I might need to edit something out here. Whoopsie. Okay, best of 7. So, welcome everybody. We'll have blue and green over here. Down south, it is Hera as blue Franks. And to the north, it is going to be Sicilians for Leery in green. So, the way that graveyards work is that it's a bit like Arabia, but usually you have smaller patches of trees and more of them. So you see smaller wood line here, smaller wood line here. They're pretty far apart from your town center, so it's actually very hard to wall all the way around here. Meanwhile, the other notable difference is that you have a lot of gold scattered across the map. So, huge amount of gold around here in small deposits. Same thing for stone. You also have some random destroyed structures, but that's not really the big deal. You also have 11 relics on the map, which, by the way, seem to favor Leery very heavily with the relic spawn. Look at this. Hera basically has this relic and this relic close to his base. Everything else is actually much closer to Leery than it is to Hera. So, that is pretty massive. Anyways, Sicilians versus Franks. This is funnily a matchup of 2 very similar civilizations. Both of them have farming-related bonuses. Early on, that's a Franks power, obviously, because you get the better scouts, you got the berry bonus that helps out, plus the Sicilian farming bonus, the longer-lasting farms pretty much, needs some time to pay off. But in the long run, Sicilians will probably take over unless the Franks get to Podin. Because the thing is that if Franks get to Podin, that's still better than the Sicilian Cavalier, but if it's only Cavalier level, the Hober Cavalier will absolutely eat the Cavalier from the Franks. Hera versus Leery, another tournament where these two are the finalists, by the way. Quick look at how they got in here. Hera defeated Kaswa 3-1 in the round of 16, then had a very, very close set versus ACCM. ACCM went to 5 games, 3-2 win for Hera there, and then 3-0ing Viper in today's semifinals. And lastly, Hera is now up against Leery. Leery defeated Nilly in the first round 3-1, then went on to 3-0 Jordan, and he also defeated Doubt in a 3-2 fashion. So Leery so far lost a combined 3 games in 3 sets. That's actually very, very impressive. He's looking extremely sharp, and the thing with Leery here in this tournament is that he was on the back foot in multiple sets. So, in many, many cases, he was actually in a very bad position, but still managed to salvage a comeback. It's not like he smashed his opponent in the face all the time. And the reason why that's scary is because even if you carve out lead against Leery, there's a reasonable chance that he's gonna come back to the game. Looks like he's just gonna go for the deer push, pushed into deer for the time being. Goes with 3 on wood for scouts. And for Hera, that's also going to be 3 on wood. Both of them have 1 isolated villager, by the way, on their wood line. That's a bit of a mistake from both parties. And for Hera, looks like with that house being placed over there, it's possible to just wall over here on the right. But considering that neither of these players are big wallers, it's possible both of them will just play open and just play with scout wars and positional warfare, not really walling that much back at home. So here's the deal. Indeed, this is what I'm reading on chat as well. The problem for Hera here, I believe, is that Leery and Hera are very similar players in playstyle, and in most cases, not all the time, Leary just does the same things a little bit better. That's the thing here. So this is why it's so hard for Hera to beat Leary, because the two players have very similar styles, but Leary is just a tiny bit better in most cases, and that's why Hera usually is the one that comes out loser in these matchups. I don't have a track of their previous matchups, but they met before in multiple tournaments. So I'm gonna look it up actually. Let's see, Hidden Cup. Hidden Cup 4, Leary actually lost to Hera. So that's one of those matchups where Hera ended up being victorious in Red Bull Volo 3. It was Leary beating Hera. So you see, it's a very, very back and forth type of a thing. I think Leary has a slight edge in their matchups so far. Hera has been teaching Leary post-game, funnily enough. Yeah, that's something that Leary needs to be taught. That's an interesting talking point, that Leary really needs to learn from Hera or even MBL how to play post-imp. The reason why is because Leary is so good that if he just plays random ranked games or even plays against most of the pros in tournaments, he just wins before post-Imperial. He's so good with the archers, he's so good in general in early game with those low micro wars that usually he has such a big lead in late Imperial that whatever he does wins him the game, if the game even gets there, right? But if the game ever goes to post-Imperial, he needs some practice against someone that's experienced with that. For example, MBL and Hera. MBL and Hera are known as some of the best post-imp players out there. As Leary is actually going to go for some woes over here on the north. Hera is checking out what Leary is up to, sees the stable, so no surprise for him on that front. Stable coming in as well for Hera. Super standard start right now, as we will have Horse Color for free for Hera, and he should get Double Bit Axe in a moment as well. Whereas for Leary, he has gotten Double Bit Axe, but not Horse Color just yet. He doesn't need Horse Color right now because he's still pushing in Deer, and it looks like Hera might find a villager here that could be a target for a push. Leary trying to quick wall that villager in, decides to just pull another Vil and fight this one. So no quick walls, it's gonna be Volov for now. So Leary's gonna have a nice and tight little base here. He is gonna have a safe gold mine at the back that he can work with, and you see that he's adding Horse Color just before he starts adding farms. It's very, very nice timing. I love how he dragged out the transition to farms by adding in some extra deer. So he pushed in one more deer while he was going up to feudal, so that he can delay his farm transition a little bit more and grab Horse Color before getting that farm down. Obviously, in the long run, the Horse Color is going to pay off for Sicilians. Right at the beginning, right now, with those Frankish scouts, Hera has the advantage. Sicilians will take over in the middle of the game as we progress deeper into the game, but they will need some time until they actually get their benefit from that farming bonus. So, Scout Wars over here. Here comes the Spearman. Hera's probably gonna make a Spearman himself, but it's always harder for him to do that than it is for Leary, because obviously Hera's Spearman will do limited amount of damage on the Scouts of Hera thanks to the Sicilian damage discount bonus. Leary has some idols lying around over here, not sure what exactly happened. He was probably too busy with the micro, as he's just gonna vote in front of his TC. I always appreciate when players do that, because if he looks away for a moment, Hera might run past his TC, and then he's gonna be in his eco. Leary's pretty low on wood as well, has a lot of villagers chopping straggler trees. He didn't add a huge amount of villas on wood lines. He's got a grand total of 8 on wood lines, rest of them are on stragglers. So there were some eco balance issues here right at the beginning for Leary, but it looks like he just wants to go for full straggler tree chopping, add a couple of farms, and since he's fully walled, he'll probably just try to progress towards Castle Age here. Hera is not really walled, but he's got his wood lines pretty much surrounded. There might be a hole there on that wood line, and Hera could come in and try to get a villager kill on the berries or this little farm. There's a Spearman to swing the battle in the favor of Leary here as well. Hera might try to jump that Spearman. That's exactly the case, but Hera's not focusing the spears. That's a mistake. That's a massive mistake. He didn't focus the spear, so he lost 2 scouts in the process. Now, he took down 1 scout from Leary here as well, but that was an inefficient fight here for Hera, and once again, he needs to be very careful with those spearmen. Leary at minimum is forcing idle time on Hera here. He idles 1 farm, He's idling the berry villagers as well, maybe even forcing Hera to make more scouts and spearmen that he initially wanted to. Liereyy is just now adding a couple more spearmen. He's actually adding more scouts as well, so he feels confident that he can do damage here. Liereyy could just micro these guys around and start progressing towards Castle Age instead, but he decides to go for a little bit more aggression here in Feudal. He believes that he can do some damage here to Hera that could give him an advantage to Castle Age. Knock knock. Liereyy is still trying to pick off a villager over here, so far unsuccessful, and his scouts are now taking quite a bit of a beating. On the other hand, Hera is losing his scouts as well to the spearmen of Liereyy. In the end, this is going to be an even scout/spearman trade, so no one is really going to get any kind of benefit or loss from this one. But obviously Hera's economy was a little bit more inefficient, so maybe Liereyy gets something out of this one. Not a whole lot though. Anyways, we will have Liereyy with a blacksmith already starting to send villagers on gold. He's up to 16 farmers, so that's quite a bit. And in fact, he's still adding scouts. So looks like he's a man with a mission. Hera once again coming in with the blacksmith. Very similar builds for both players, but Hera is a lot heavier on gold. So to me, it very much seems like Hera thought Liereyy is gonna stop making scouts. Because if Hera saw that Liereyy is adding more scouts, he wouldn't send villagers to gold just yet. He would add more farms because you're producing scouts. And speaking of that, however, Liereyy is so heavy on the scout production, the spearman production, even grabbing forging, that Hera could pull away with the Castle Age time. Hera actually has a very, very good food eco as well, 20 farms already. Whereas for Liereyy, he only has 19. In fact, Hera has a 4 villagers lead, part of that because Liereyy did grab Wheelbarrow. Let's see if Liereyy can get some villager kills here. Spearman, as I said, not particularly amazing against Sicilian scouts, but still doing some damage. And it very much seems like Lierey's aggression is not going to materialize in a single villager kill so far. Liereyy had 48 seconds of TC time as opposed to Hera's 10 though. And if we continue at this pace, it's very possible that Hera's just gonna beat Liereyy to Castle Age here. You see, Hera needs a market to click up because he's floating a huge amount of gold right now. And he doesn't have the food to go up just yet. We'll probably need to garrison a bunch more villagers to click up. And up he goes. He's still floating a lot of gold, and that's something that he needs to fix. But he could start adding by second stable right now. Add a second stable and keep making some more scouts so he can actually fight this one back. Liereyy is very far from Castle Age though. And this is where the Bloodlines advantage will come in for Sicilians. Frankish scouts cap out to 54 HP, whereas for Franks, they can, whereas for Sicilians, they can grab Bloodlines and get some extra HP on their scouts. And now with Forging, those scouts are a lot more devastating. That's the first and the second villager casualty of the game. Hera trying to wall these villagers off over here just to give them some extra safety. And in the end, it looks like Liereyy is going to get away with 2 villager kills. Hera also had some T-saddle time, so now Hera should have a 2 villagers deficit to overcome. But he's gonna beat Liereyy to Castle Age by a considerable margin, although he's missing the second stable currently, not even having the root for it. But once he's got some knights out, things could swing back in his favor, probably even supported by a forward siege workshop, honestly, because otherwise he probably won't get through the walls of Liereyy. There's a difference between 2 players right now. One of them is walled and the other one isn't, and the one that isn't walled has a wide open eco for raiding, scale barring on the way for Hera, which is a bit of an odd choice, because in Knight vs Knight Wars you probably prefer to grab Forging first, but scale barring is gonna help running past town centers potentially. Second stable on the way for Liereyy, and he's on the way to Castle Age as well, with a 1.5 minute deficit. So Hera coming in with second TC on that wood line, no TC on the gold, and he's gonna add the monastery immediately to deal with the incoming knights from Liereyy. Liereyy coming in, trying to get some villager kills once again on this somewhat misplaced farm by Hera, but he's just gonna end up running into Hera's spearman. Looks like Liereyy might still be tempted to try and pick off a villager here on the gold mine. Hera now going for forging as well. A lot of spearmen out for Hera. He had to make a huge amount of them, man. Look at this, 6 spearmen, and we would have 4 from Liereyy right now. First scout here from Hera trying to intercept the villager. He was probably trying to get the stable denied or delayed, but it wasn't really possible, so Hera's gonna have to disengage, and now it's gonna be double stable knights. Leary is also gonna play double stable up to Castle Age Keys. Both players will have +1/+1, and Leary will probably go for his own monastery as well. Once again, I kind of feel like the two players are doing the identical things, but currently Leary possesses a 2 villagers lead. The longer the game goes, the better the Sicilian bonus pays off as well. And also the fact that Leary is fully evolved means that it's much harder for Hera to do damage to Leary's eco than vice versa. So Monastery coming in here for Leary. Leary actually is grabbing a Light Cav upgrade and he's stacking into Pikeman. Ooh. Interesting. So he knows that he's behind in knight numbers and he's entrusting his monks. So what he's gonna do is start making knights, but he's also gonna mix in some Light Cav because he wants to snipe Hera's monks here. Plus a couple of pikemen never hurts. Franks have a good answer to pikemen here in the form of throwing axemen, but obviously that takes a lot of time to get to for the Frankish player. On the other side, Hera is already on 2 TCs though, so Hera's gonna be able to catch up economically. In fact, he already did so with a 3 villagers lead. So, husbandry on the way to increase the movement speed of these knights, and more importantly, the light cav. You want to make those light cav as fast as possible because you want to be able to jump on monks to avoid your knights getting converted. Currently, it's a 5 versus 12 knight war. The bigger problem for Leary is that at this pace, he's just going to get outboomed. By the way, Hera started picking up relics already. Part of the reason why Leary added the light cav, I believe, is because he wants to control the relics. And I did mention that the relics are actually heavily on the side of Leary. What's even worse for Leary, though, is that the knights now break in through his walls. Not sure what happened here. Maybe he shift-queued the houses. That was weird, because now the knights are in, and Leary is gonna have to clean this one up, and that's gonna be really painful to do so. In fact, it's not only the fact that Leary is losing villagers here. Hera is on 3 TCs now. Big fight over here at Hera's base as well. Most of the light cav will go down, but the main attraction is over here. Leary is losing vills, and what's even bigger is that, you know, he's 1 TC against 3. He's down to 39 vills. This game is just so chaotic because there is so many back and forth fights over here. So I was about to say that Leary is in a pretty decent position because he could control the relics and pick a lot of them up, but then this disaster happened, and I think he just wanted to shift queue these houses behind, but that never happened. The knights broke in. It's only 7 villagers killed by Hera, as opposed to 2 by Leary. The big problem that Leary is facing is that he's still 1 TC as opposed to 3 now, and Hera is starting to realize that he has such a big eco lead that he can just keep booming here, and Leary might not be able to do much. Conversion also is successful here by Hera. So currently he is at 11 knights, 4 monks, as opposed to only 4 knights, and mostly pikemen, but pikemen aren't good to deal damage, and Leary needs to do damage here. If he doesn't do any damage, he's gonna lose the game because he will get outboomed by Hera. Light Cav now swooping in from Leary, trying to snipe the monk, and he gets the monk, but he's going to lose all 3 Light Cavalry in the process. Now here comes Leary, with 1 villager being pulled for a forward siege workshop. He needs to make something happen, and now that Hera sees all of that pikemen, this is the moment for Hera to start mining gold like a madman. Or, excuse me, mining stone like a madman. He doesn't need a huge amount of stone for a defensive castle, and once he gets that up, the mangonel push won't work, and the throwing axeman will just destroy the pikemen. For now, Hera is actually using the monks to convert the pikemen. I think he got 3 conversions out there. Lightcav tried to swoop in and snipe the monks, but that's gonna fail as well, because the monks jump back into the TC. This might be the final fight here for Leary as he's losing his entire army. The moment the monks see the Lightcav coming in, they are going to jump back into the TC. The monk is gonna get sniped here from Leary. And that 62 to 34 KD tells the whole story. Hera annihilating annihilating Leary in this game. What a game this was from Hera. What a game this was. In Feudal Age, it didn't look good, and he had a pretty bad map spawn with all those relics on the side of Leary, but then it was the fact that he was able to get to Castle Age a little faster, establish 2 TCs and then the third one, and then he just carved out an eco lead. Consistent free TC booming, 158 TC idle time with free TCs, that's actually amazing. That's really hard to pull off such an efficient economy for Hera. And with that, Hera winning game number 1 here in a pretty decisive fashion. This is where we have to talk about the fact that Hera just schemed very strong today against Viper. On the other hand, Hera almost lost to ACCM yesterday. So you gotta wonder what Hera you are seeing here and what Leary you are seeing here. Because Leary also played up to 5 games with DaToH. But yes, they destroyed Jordan 3-0. So both of these players had some inconsistency, so to say, in their performance. But Hera grabs game number 1 right now in a pretty convincing fashion with Franks over here. Sicilians will be gone for Leary. Both players had this one as a relatively early Civ pick over here. Hera's third Civ pick was Franks, and Leary's fourth was Sicilians. And we got Fetus with the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. So, game number 2 coming up, and this is where we're going to play Hera's home map. Excuse me, Leary's home map. What am I talking about? They're going to set up the game, and we're going to Kelimutu Lakes. And the countdown is already over, so I guess let's go. Shout out to the players for starting the games on time. I always appreciate when players don't spend 15 minutes in between games. Hera will be playing Ethiopians on the right side in blue, a civilization that's a little surprising for this map, because Ethiopians live and die with their gold units. So you gotta wonder what Hera's gonna do if he runs out of the only gold mine that he has here on the right side. Whereas on the other side, we'll have Japanese for Leary in red. Japanese is an archer civ mainly, and the thing is that it's gonna be inferior to Ethiopians. On the other hand, Japanese cavalry in Castle Age is slightly stronger than Ethiopian cavalry, so there is some more diversity in Castle Age unit composition for Japanese. Their economy is going to be more efficient, I would say, with the chance to go for cheap mills or potentially to go for the strong and faster working fishing ships to the middle or the side lakes. So there's a lot to think about here. The key thing on this map, I believe, is that this is a Castle Age heavy map. Imperial Age costs so much gold that the players usually don't even go for that because, like, you start with 3.2k gold. So 1/4 of that is what Imperial Age costs, and you haven't even made a single gold unit, a single gold costing upgrade, or, you know, nothing. So Imperial Age is very expensive for this map because of how low your starting gold is. So, for now, Hera's gonna be on the right side with Ethiopians. One of the things that Ethiopians can do is go for nice Drush fast castles or simple fast castles, however, because they get a bunch of extra resources when aging up. So you don't need to mine gold, for example, to go into Castle Age with the Ethiopians if you don't get loom, because you will get 100 gold when hitting Feudal Age, so you will have what you need to click up to Castle Age right away. Will that be the case for Hera? We will see. For now, he's taking the Pagan Shrine, which can be used to train the priests. It would cost 80 gold for either of these players to do that, and there is the priest from Leary. Leary played this map against DaToH, and DaToH was the one that monk crushed Leary there, in that case. Let's see if it works out for Leary. It didn't work out for DaToH. These priests are basically the same as monks, but they only have 4 range and cost 80 gold, can be trained in the Dark Age on the Pagan Shrines. Hera also has a shrine himself, but he hasn't made a monk. And now it looks like Hera's just gonna run around and try to convert some villagers. Even if you don't convert one, you can just be very annoying harassing those villagers, because if you start converting them, they're going to stop whatever they're doing. So you can actually do quite a bit of harassment with it, and it feels like it's gonna be a monk rush into a fast castle for Leary. There's a single tile gap over here that's open. These foliage is not something that blocks it, and Leary actually did allow DaToH to get some step lancers into his base through a hole like that in the previous game, so he needs to be more cautious about that one. Right side is much harder to wall for Leery, and there's a chance he might just wall in front of the berries like that. It's gonna be hard to protect these berries for Larry. By the way, one thing I want to highlight is that the hunt is very close to the berries here for Leery, so he might not even need to push the deer in. He can just send villas out, and they will not have to walk a lot of distance to the mill. Here comes Hera, and oops, that was a quick conversion for Leery. That was such a quick conversion for Leery, and now he's trying to quick wall that monk in. He's trying to quick wall the monk in. This is what Hera was waiting for. Hera knew exactly that he's gonna lose a villager, but that was the game plan there for Hera. Because the moment the monk uses up his conversion power, Hera's gonna be able to jump on that monk with the scout. Leery tried his best to quick wall that monk around and then kill the scout with his own to try and make sure that the monk is unable to... or monk isn't gonna die, basically. Let's see if Leery can actually pick off a villager here. They're sort of poking and probing with the scouts. Leery might get a will kill here. It's a pretty low HP villager, 1 HP. Hera kills the scout. That's actually a win, I think, for Hera. I think this is a win for Hera. Like, he lost a villager, but he killed a monk, that's a very expensive monk, from Leery here. And also killed his opponent's scout. Leery, on the other hand, he has other plans, and this is the only gold mine on the map. Oh, wall is broken through. Leery wants to yoink that scout. The villager chasing is full HP, but I think Leery wants to wall in that gold mine. That would be genius. Hera has gotten Loom, or at least it has it queued up. And it looks like Leery is not gonna wall in the entire gold mine, but he's gonna have a couple of palisades over there. Palisades don't have good vision here, but it's still gonna block potential good mining camp spots. Like, this wall and this wall will make villagers bump into it, so it's not ideal. Hera trying his best to block the villager, get some downhills hits. And this was the downhill's advantage that Hera could use to kill that will. Hera needed 3 hits to that will with the scout, and the villager only needed 2 to kill the scout. So what happened is that Hera had to take the hill to take 2 downhills hits to kill the villager. If it was even ground, the moment Hera turns around to hit the villager with the scout, the villager would have hit the scout, and as I said, it would have taken 3 hits for Hera with the scout to kill the will normally on even ground, and it would have taken 2 hits for Leery to kill the scout. So Leery would have gotten away. By using the hill, Hera was able to get this one with 2 hits. And that's basically it. And now he is going in with man-at-arms, adding the fishing eco as well. Hera is also going for his own man-at-arms over here, but obviously Japanese man-at-arms will be way better than Ethiopian one. So, as things stand, we do have Leery already with the dock up over here. Hera's gonna come in with the gold miners. As I said, this palisade over here is actually gonna make villagers bump into it once you have a lot of villas on gold. Same thing for this one, because those are not just foundations, they actually have some HP on them. Looks like 3 militia, soon-to-be men-at-arms are coming over. Hera is walled on the right side. In fact, he is fully walled, so those men-at-arms shouldn't be able to accomplish anything. And if I'm not mistaken, Hera may have seen the dock. Yes, he does. Wait a minute. Apparently the shoreline over here is revealed. I'm just noticing this. Better late than never in the grand finals. So it seems like the players are aware if the opponent drops a dock on them. Here come the men-at-arms, and that could be a couple of villagers that from Leery... Oh boy, Leery is in trouble here. His own men-at-arms are very heavily mispositioned, and since Leery still has a scout here, he could try to just block those vills. Leery gets 1 hit in, and that should be 1 villager dead. Leery is still trying to get that scout killed. Hera runs a circle around him and takes down 2 vills here. Remember that Hera lost 1 vill as well in Dark Age to a conversion, but that's basically it. Yeah, it's not just the huts being revealed. It's also the campfires. You see, there is no hut over here and it's revealed. So I think the campfires are revealed around. Anyways, men-at-arms are now heading towards Leery's base. Leery's base is not fully walled. He's gonna have to defend with archers against this one. Currently, Hera is 1 eco behind because his opponent still has 2 fishing ships to work with. 2 archers are out right now, no skirmishers yet on the field by Hera. Hera's slowly gonna grind down the HP of those Japanese man-at-arms though, on the other hand, with the archers. And it looks like he's just gonna loop around. Probably the idea is that he wants to drag away Lierey's attention, and if Liereyy doesn't move forward with the archers, then Hera can just move up with his own archers, potentially get a dock up. If Liereyy moves up with the archers, then Hera can just use these man-at-arms to kill villagers, and I think the plan would be to force Hera off from gold. Even if it's just temporary, at this point, the men-at-arms coming in. By the way, I haven't set Lierey's color to green here. He's switching between yellow and green, and he went for yellow, and I forgot to switch it back. I'll leave it at yellow right now. Villager is stuck in here, and that's another dead villager here for Liereyy. This is what I was talking about. The men-at-arms will most likely get cleaned up here, but if they can force the opponent off from gold for a brief moment, that's already a win. And there is gonna be another villager potentially dying. Nope, this guy survives. But at the end of the day, 5 villagers were killed by Hera, 0 by Liereyy. And remember that Ethiopians will have better archers proportionally, right? So they will have the faster firing rate as opposed to Japanese not having a bonus for their archers. At this point, the only thing that compensates for Liereyy is that he has fishing eco, whereas his opponent doesn't. So Hera needs to move out of his base still, I believe, because he's just a little too stuck in here. Alright, men-at-arms knocking through the walls over here. They do have the downhills advantage as well, and they are Japanese, so they really melt those walls fast. And the skirmishers attacking downhills can also do a lot of damage to the vills. So it's possible for Liereyy to get through these walls, maybe. Hera's gonna have to be cautious about this one. Archers looping around. They might be able to hit the back of these wood lines. Notice that if you look at Hera's scouting, as we have a push here, let's look at that first. Looks like Hera is holding this for time being. He's only archers. He's got the 1 range worth of production. Liereyy is also 1 range, but Liereyy makes in some skirms. Hera is just trying to pick off the men-at-arms for now to try and prevent them from breaking in. Here come the archers. And notice how in Hera's POV, he knows exactly there is no wood lines here. So the wood lines have to be on this side, and this is why he's coming from this angle. Looks like he changes focus and starts moving up to the middle, though. For now, it looks like Liereyy is mixing in more and more skirms. I appreciate that he's mixing in skirms, though, because the thing is that this map has little gold to work with, so a couple of skirms can really help out, taking down those precious gold units. And for Hera, looks like he is going to play with scouts now. Liereyy has a massive fishing eco in the middle, though, and Liereyy is getting close to clicking up to Castle Age. So is Hera. The thing, however, is that Liereyy is not going to have an answer directly to the knights, aside from adding Japanese spearmen. This is still a pretty close match over here, because I think Liereyy has the army composition advantage and the map control as well. But in the long run, I actually like the civilization of Liereyy a little bit, or Hera a little bit better. Plus, Hera has a stable, and a couple of scouts here could easily turn things around. So this is a wide open game right now. Hera needs 1 scout and kill these 2 isolated skirmishers. That would be nice value for him. Liereyy is gonna be 30 seconds faster to Castle Age than Hera is. And remember, that's a lot of fishing eco that's gonna be hard to destroy because they have 120 HP. Every time you deplete a droplet of fish, you get 400 gold as well. Like you see, the moment that the fish disappears, there's a new gold pile there. So Liereyy is also getting a lot of gold piles closer to himself doing this, whereas for Hera, that's not the case. Hera is not moving out to the other pond, though. That's the bigger issue for him. Usually when you are forced up from the middle pond, you have to move to the other ones. Completely neglecting them might actually have serious consequences, because now Liereyy is expanding to the other ones, and I feel like Liereyy is just gonna have gold soon and Hera won't. That's gonna be the situation. 1 villager went down over here from Hera, the first villager casualty of the game, or at least the first official one, because he already lost 1 to a conversion. Archers still poking around trying to find villagers, but they can't find any. And as I said, when the dust settles, the economy for Liereyy is just way better than Hera's one. Look at this. Already 2,000 extra resources for Liereyy. Most of that comes from fishing eco, even though the food difference is only 600. Obviously, if you fish, you don't have to spend that many villagers on farming, so you can just chop more wood and gold with your vills. Leary is still poking around Hera's base. There is an opening on the north that he could utilize and then loop around like that. For now, he's just gonna settle with the idle time on the farmers. Crossbow coming in for Hera, but he's got 9 archers as opposed to what will be 11 elite skirms, and I feel like Lear is just one step ahead. And when you have such a big economy advantage as well, pinning your opponent inside his base is already a massive achievement. Hera wants to go for knights, and Leary knows that now, so Leary is gonna mix in his own knights as well. We'll see if there is some monks as well from Leary. I don't see a monastery just yet. In fact, he's gonna go double stable knights here. Alright, so second TC on the way for Leary. Look at this fishing eco, that's the brutal thing. Yes, units can walk on the water, as you see over here. This is shallow water, so they can walk all around there. Hera selling a lot of resources for gold. He wants to have one big unit pop here, so have like 5 knights, 10 crossbows, and then pop out of this one and push this. But once again, Lear is possessing a consistent 10 eco advantage, and the bigger deal is the positional advantage. I haven't seen a single player going for TCs in the middle yet, but you can build on this water area. I think we already confirmed that. So you can technically place a TC here, and that would be the right play, I think, from Leary. Secure that water with some units, place a TC on top of it, and you will have a safe gold income, whereas Hera won't. And currently, that's the problem that Hera is in, that he just doesn't have the gold soon. Look at this. He's already depleting his gold mines. He has about 1,500 left over here. He also has to abandon this wood line because of the harassment from the elite skirms, as Hera now moves out to the middle. He's gonna have the hill here, picks off 1 fire galley, and he's also sending in the knights. The knights only have +1 defense, no bloodlines. The skirmishers, on the other hand, do have the hill here, but not a lot of support units here for Leary. Leary does have +1 defense on his knights as well, plus bloodlines, and it looks like they will just settle with a kind of even fight / tie over here, as some fire galleys will be mixed in as well by Leary. That actually is a very, very good unit to absorb damage. Like you see, it absorbs a lot of arrow fire, so it allows Leary to just not have his knights get killed by the archers / crossbows, and have something else for his opponent to shoot at. A villager goes down over here, throwing her axe very far away from her dead body, by the way. 7 knights now for Leary, but the bigger deal is +2 defense. He's just waiting for that defense upgrade to commit to this fight. Tries to lower down the HP of those knights and the numbers of those crossbows. And remember that he's more than happy to be in this situation. He's fishing away with this one. Insane amount of food. And when you have this much food at the beginning, you can use the market heavily. Like, there's little gold on this map, but when you have so much food, you can easily afford to just sell a couple hundred food for gold and sort of extend the time before you have to move to the middle to mine some gold here. Hera is also selling wood for gold right now. As Leary tried to go for a forward siege workshop, changes his mind, instead goes for gill nets here. Goes for 30 TC as well. Leary is almost out of gold back at home though. You see, he's gonna have to move out in a moment. And I think he's gonna get that forward position soon. He actually has no more stone though. I think this TC would have been better in the middle, because then it protects the gold. It's obviously not going to protect it against everything, but it's very good to just keep the crossbows away for the time being. Get some map control for yourself. These skirms are a little bit mispositioned. Hera still without +2 defense. And now that's a lot of knights for Leary, and I feel like this is the moment where he's going to commit to this one. He's going to dive in on top of those crossbows, and Hera's about to lose his entire army here, I believe. Because now the crossbows can only fight the skirmishers. The knights of Hera just disappeared from the battlefield. Hera's going to be down to like basically no army, no map control. Hera's gonna tap out of this one. And Leary, basically with the eco advantage that he carved out early game, he was just able to outboom Hera. Despite the fact that the overall villager KD is 6-1. Hera killed 6 vills in this game, only lost 1. Yet he's the one that falls behind economically. That's because Leary had the pawns the whole time, and Japanese fishing is nothing to be shy about. 4,000 extra resources for Leary. That 2k extra food is pretty much exclusively fish. Alrighty, let's cross out the civilizations. We are even in score, and as one-sided as the first game was in the favor of Hera from Castle Age onwards, this one also was very, very one-sided. So far we're not really getting back and forth games. It's more like either one player dominating. This time around that was Leary, and now we will go to Hera's home map. I wonder what he's gonna choose. I think the players will try to delay playing Holy City because neither of them likes that map. Same thing for Texcoco, so we'll probably see the standard open maps at the beginning and then have the crazy ones come up later. Okay, I don't see a game just yet, so I think this is the moment. Okay, they're setting up the lobby right now, so we'll probably have to wait the spec delay. Okay, so remaining maps. Let's talk about that. We have Holy City. I haven't seen a single game on that map because I think there were 2 played in the round of 16th. Hera actually lost Holy City against Kasva. And in general, I didn't see the round of 16th. So I haven't seen that map a single time. Every single set in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, Holy City was banned. We already played Kalimuru Lakes. Sacred Glades is a possibility for either player to choose. It's a very open map, aggressive. Starfighter is probably going to be picked early as well. And then when they start running out of maps, that's where Yamsuf, Texcoco, and probably at latest Holy City is going to come in. Okay, they're already starting the game, and we're going to Sacred Glades. Looking at the civilizations, we are going to have, on the left side, Leary as Berbers in green, a civilization that's not commonly associated with this map, but it's not a bad idea, because it looks like Leary wants to go for a Monk Rush here. He wants to go with the Blind Lame Priests and get some villager conversions potentially. This is the only unit you can use to scout as well, so you will probably go for those anyways. Why are Berbers good here? It's because their vills move faster, so you can run away from those priests at the beginning. Aside from that though, they will struggle against Magyars in Feudal Age big time. Berbers are very underwhelming in Feudal with their cavalry play. Magyars are amazing. Castle Age onwards, it's a 50-50. I would say Magyars will have the better cavalry early on, but obviously the Berbers will have the cheaper cav. But usually in this Civ matchup, which is something that's pretty common on Atacama, for example, you are trying to get to Castle Age as soon as possible for the Berber player, and it usually comes down to whether or not the Magyar player can do damage in Feudal Age sufficient enough to prevent the Berber player from getting to Castle. Nonetheless, I think Magyars is the better Civ for this map over here, because I don't think I've seen a lot of games on this map that goes into Castle Age. It's just so open. Alright, so you see Blind Lame Priests moving out. These guys can convert, but they have 0 range on them, so they basically are melee conversion units. Each of them costs 20 gold on the monastery to make. Or is it 30? Yeah, it's 30 gold actually. So Leader made 2 of them, Hera only made 1 extra. You can try laming the opponent's boar villager with this, and well, you can also try just being aggressive on the wood line, trying to get a conversion or 2. That's something that Doubt tried against Leary, and it failed ultimately. Leary also played Magyars on this map. This time around, it's gonna be his opponent playing it. Leary used Magyars against Franks, I think. Franks was Doubt in the semifinals. So, as things stand, that priest was pretty short-lived over here, running into the TC fire as he just evaporated. So 30 gold down the drain there very, very easily for Leary. Looks like his other priests are also converging on the base of Hera. So he wants to try the Monk Rush that Doubt tried against him. And he tried the Monk Rush in the previous game as what worked. Well, it didn't really work out on Kalimuru Lakes. This time around, I think he's just trying to prevent Hera from accessing that boar. That's probably the idea. that the villager is gonna try coming in. And Leary will try to block the board. Look at that! The monks are coming in here, and he's just gonna try delaying that board. That's the idea. Set back the Magyar player so much that he's just gonna be delayed to Feudal Age. And remember, Magyars don't have a good eco bonus in Dark Age. Which means that if you delay the second board, especially because there is no deer to push here, well, there is some deer, but you can't really use the priest to push deer very efficiently, this is gonna cause serious problems for Hera. This doesn't seem like it's much, but it actually is. That board being delayed is a massive loss right now for Hera. And you see, Leary actually is gonna lose 2 sheep in exchange, which is not ideal either, but it's better to lose 2 sheep than to lose a board at this point. And you see Hera rolling in his villagers over here, although this house foundation isn't finished. In fact, he didn't even start it. Which means that the priest can just walk in here and convert that lady. Hera needs to be careful about that one. Okay, he's gonna start building it now, and now there is no problems with this wood line. Leary won't be able to do much over there. You see that Hera actually has to start pushing in deer with this priest, but this is just enough of a delay for Leary to have an advantage into Feudal Age. Leary... Oh, he's trying it. He's trying it. And the board de-aggroes. Still no board for Hera over there. Still no board. Leary is trying his best to convert that villager, but that's not gonna happen. And you see, this is why Leary is doing it. It might not seem like much, but look at that resource bank for Hera. I'm not gonna say it's GG, because it probably isn't. But this is already such a big lead for Leary that it might not be possible for Hera to come back from this. Leary is gonna be in Feudal Age, he will have scouts, and Hera will simply not be able to reach Feudal Age here. Like, you see, he is scrambling to chop trees so that he can actually afford to make farms. But farms need some time until they pay off. I don't even know when Hera's gonna be able to pick up the Feudal Age. It's a lifesaver for him that he took 2 sheep from his opponent, because he can use those 2 sheep to finally find a way up to Feudal Age. But even after this, I mean, Lear is gonna have a considerable advantage. And Lear is actually mining stone. So there is gonna be towers from Leary. This is exactly what TaToH did against him, but TaToH lost the game. The very exact play. You're gonna tower Hera here, and it actually works well if Hera cannot get to Feudal Age. Those sheep for Hera's, Leary limbed them earlier? Okay, I didn't know that. Well, whatever happened is that Hera was very low on food, and this is why he's delayed to Feudal so heavily. And without Feudal Age, Magyars are just very bad as it is. Tower coming in right away, and you see that the priests are already coming in to try and get some conversions in. Hera even deletes the lumber camp on here, and what you have to do is use one priest to heal the other. That's a mistake from Leary. Leary mismicroed this really badly. He needs to heal one monk with the other while one is converting, and then flip it around so you will have always one monk healing the other. Leary is even stonewalling this tower in here, as the next tower is probably going to come up on the berries. He also has a barracks out, so he's going to start making spearmen. He knows exactly there will be scouts eventually. That's something that TaToH did not do. TaToH didn't have any army here. And now it's Hera trying to come in for the conversions. Leary actually was in the villagers all the way around. So once again, this is not going to be possible for Hera to stop. And the question now, Hera was forced off from wood. Will he have the wood for a stable? He will not. That's the problem that Hera is facing. He had to rebuild his lumber camp. He doesn't have the barracks yet. So, sure enough, he's up to Feudal Age, but he cannot make a single unit. With Magyars, he can maybe make a man-at-arms, although, well, it would be just a militia. There is apparently one conversion here, so Hera gets one. Leary will try to convert that back, I believe. He's converting the spearman, actually, surprisingly. Oh, Leary running into TC for a little bit. And then he changes target to the Vil. Look at that, that was beautiful once again by Leary. Leary's gonna lose the monk in the end, but he converted the villager back, and now he's towering the heck out of Hera's base. Hera is gonna need a stable soon to fight this. Leary's eco is still not amazing, and once these scouts come out for Hera, Leary could be in a bit of a trouble. So Leary's gonna have to wall his wood lines, wall his berries and stuff like that. But until then, Hera's gonna be in trouble, because Hera's not gonna have reasonable food income here. So his farms will be towered, his berries will be towered, and I I mean, Leary is crawling closer and closer to that wood line. The next tower here could potentially deny that wood line, and then Hera has absolutely nothing that he can do. Leary, by the way, 107 TC idle time, so quite considerable at this stage of the game. Hera still has 70% worker efficiency, by the way, but that should drop pretty soon. Leary is waiting for the next tower, as he sends out a couple of villagers to take the hunt. I like that. Bit of an extra food never hurts for Leary, who has a very, very strained economy right now. 4 villagers towering, and you see Hera's gonna try to come up with a defensive tower here. Also has a priest to try and fight this, and Leary will have to bail on that tower. He isn't canceling the foundation just yet because he wants Hera to make that tower. He wants Hera to make that tower before canceling his own. Hera coming out with a couple of scouts, so there is gonna be a counterattack coming in. This was the only tower that Hera could make, by the way. Keep that in mind. He won't have more stone to work with, so it's very possible that this was intentional from Leary just to make sure that he forces the defensive tower out of Hera. Now Leary is going to have to start playing standard though, because as fancy as this looks like, because of the TC idle time for Leary, he's behind by 4 vills. So, funnily enough, this could have worked well if Leary doesn't go for towers but goes for scouts. But now I think that Hera might actually start taking over. This didn't work for Doubt, and there's a chance it won't work for Leary either, because now Hera's got scouts and he actually has military on the field, whereas his opponent has not. So yeah, I am fairly certain that that tower was just a bait. Leary still hasn't cancelled the foundation. I wonder if he can click it. Okay, now... No, he lost the foundation, right? Let's rewind this a little bit. Leary's at 140 stone right now. Yeah, Leary lost this foundation. 130 stone right now, and loses a foundation here. If he deleted that, he would get the stone back, but he didn't. Leary lost that foundation. I think he just couldn't click it behind the barracks. Still, it was probably meant to be a bait tower, because if you force the defensive tower from Hera here, then you can actually get one up over there. Meanwhile, Spearmen will have to defend the villagers here from Hera's scouts. Hera's got Magyar scouts, so they actually kill villagers really fast, and that could be the first villager casualty of the game for Leary. Hera will try to come back for that vill, I can assure you. Meanwhile, big horde of villagers trying to chase down the ones from Leary. He just can't make that tower happen. And Hera now loops around, hits a villager. Hera is doing this one really nicely, and as cheesy as this build was from Leary, this isn't gonna work. Like, Doubt tried it against him, and I think Leary was like, okay, I can make this work. I have a better idea on how to do this, or better execution, but it's not working. The problem is that towers without army is just not a thing. You need something that actually gives you map control to make those towers. This would have worked if Hera was stuck in Dark Age, and he was for a moment, but then, of course, he finds a way up once he got the sheep, and now he's got the cheap Magyar scouts, and he's just gonna keep running circles around the opponent's base, wait for an overchop here, and I mean, I'm not even sure if Leary can get those 4 vills back at home. This is looking really good for Hera. It's not because Hera is playing better than Leary here. I think the 2 players are playing pretty even in execution. It's just because Leary's strategy here is not supposed to work out. In fact, I see Hera going for a mining camp, and that means archer range, and that means archers to pick off the spearmen from our blue player. Funnily enough, Doubt did the... Doubt did the exact same idea against Leary, and Leary was Magyars there. And now Leary is doing this plan, and Hera, his opponent, is Magyars. And yeah, Leary has a lot of TC idle time as well. When the spearmen get cleaned up, these villagers from Leary will all go down. And I mean, at this point, Leary's already 8 villagers behind. An interesting concept to add here. This is pretty important. The 2 semifinals were played at the same time. However, the Hera versus Viper finals finished pretty fast, right? So Hera could already start watching the second semifinals while it was streamed from the beginning. So he saw the game Doubt versus Leary here, where Leary was Magyars. That's guaranteed. Hera, 99% sure I am in the fact that Hera saw that game. If this happened in the first semifinals, there's a chance that, you know, the player doesn't see it, because then he needs to go back in the WOD and that might not be something that players always do. But, you know, Hera just finished his semifinals early, and then he could just basically turn on the live stream, and he could just see what his future opponent was doing in those matchups. 44 to 36 is the wheel count right now. Defensive tower coming in for Hera. Lear does have wheelbarrow, so there is a bit of an advantage from that. But, I mean, we have Hera going into Castle Age here. And when he gets to Castle Age with those +2 attack knights, he can smash everything. He's also coming in to hit Leary's eco once again. Lear now has a pretty considerable overchop here. We'll see if those scouts can get in or not. They will have bloodlines, so if they get in, there is no way these villagers will survive this engagement. They can't just fight back right now. And indeed they get in. Lear is still gonna make the quick walls happen though. There was multiple overchops, but Lear reacted in time, so there is gonna be no villagers lost over there. Lear is not far away from Castle Age either, and as I said, Castle Age onwards is where it starts swinging in the favor of Berbers. And Berbers have cheap cavalry, so if Lear somehow gets up to Castle Age without dying here, for that, he would need buildings, by the way. He doesn't have the buildings to click up. Not even a single one, let alone 2. So if he gets up to Castle Age and gets camos out, then that could work. I just don't think that it's gonna work because he's already delayed, and you see that he just doesn't have the buildings to click up to the next age, and he's gonna tap out. Yeah, this Monk Rush is just not working. It looks cheesy and it looks aggressive, but it sets you back so much, especially if you combine it with a Tower Rush. I think if Leary just combines it with a Scouts play and sort of from that point on play map control game with the Scouts, try to harass Hera, try to harass the Berry Villagers, and just play standard Scouts, then he would have had an advantage in Feudal Age and then just build on it and play the game from that point on. But making these monks for gold and then towering with 4 wheels, having 3 on stone is just a little too much for your economy. And you just can't afford army behind that. Alright, Leary takes a loss here, and Hera is now up by 1 game. Hera winning with Magyars, and Leary is going to lose this one with Berbers. So, we're once again going for a Leary map here. We are running out of the open maps. I think it's possible we're going to see Starfighter now, because that's still one of the more standard maps. After that, there is this slower paced maps, Texcoco, Yamsuf, and Holy City. I'm really curious about Holy City, because I would love to see it shown at least once. Just once, please. Alright, let's see if we have a game or not. Okay, no game just yet. So we're gonna have to wait for a brief moment until they set up the next game. Alrighty. So let's see what the map is gonna be. That's the main question. We're going to Yamsuf actually. So will be pretty interesting in many ways. It's one of the slower paced maps. Let's talk about civilizations here. Alrighty. So Yamsuf, civilizations. What do we have? We have do we have Koreans? We do not. We don't have Persians, or what am I talking about? No Spanish, no Koreans. So not a lot of fast cast unique unit civilizations. Persians is the obvious choice here for Hera. And maybe Byzantines for Leary, but I'm not 100% convinced about that. Malians is the better choice probably for Leary. Persians versus Malians, the two nomad matchup. This is where things will get slowed down, so to say. Britons could be an interesting idea, and I wouldn't mind it. Britons are very good when it comes to controlling a single choke point, and they could do that very nicely over here. I would love to have Britons here, but I feel like Malian's early game is just so much better than Britons on this map that that might still motivate Leary to go for Malians instead. But Britons wouldn't be a bad idea either. Cheaper TCs, faster getting rate from sheep, a lot to love about Britons on this map. Alright, so the players are ready. For a change now, Leary is going for red color. I don't know what's up with him. He just keeps flipping his colors back and forth. He was green, he was yellow, now he's playing red. I don't know why he's changing colors. This would be a very, very good interview topic, by the way. The next time I do a player interview at the end of the tournament or something like that, I'm gonna ask them what's the concept behind picking colors. Because I understand if someone has a preferred color, and you consistently pick that just so that you get used to what color your own units are, and that way it's easier to recognize your units in certain situations. But I really want to hear the motivation behind flipping colors between games, because there's probably some motivation behind this, I just don't know what. So, let's see if we have the game now. Nope, not yet. So, a little bit more of a waiting game. Probably the players are taking a break because they have been playing non-stop ever since the start of the Grand Finals. So, wouldn't be surprised to see them, either of them, taking a short break, by the way. That's probably the reason why we have a bit of a downtime in here. But they are launching the game right now. So, Yamsuf, let's see the civilizations. Because I'm really curious. There's a lot of civs that can work here, depending on how you want to approach the game. If you want to play late game, Britons is actually probably the best choice. If you want to play early game, then Mali against Valeri. For Hera, I think his only legitimate choice here really is Persians. Vikings don't make a lot of sense. Indians, big question mark. Tatars, massive question mark. Burgundians, not really motivated for that either. So, I don't think that Hera has any other good civilizations. So, it should be Persians from him. Which raises some questions. What if Leary is going to just try to counterpick the Persians here? He could do that with Byzantines, Malians, maybe. Maybe even Britons. Although, actually, no. Britons is not a great matchup for... like, playing Persians is not a great matchup for Britons. That's what I wanted to say. My brain is also melting right now. It looks like they're changing a map. Aha! That's why there was a delay. I was suspecting Starfighter to be the next map, and they're actually going Starfighter now. The reason why I suspected that is because these players hate these slow, grindy, long maps, and Yamsuf is one of those. Same thing as Texcoco and Holy City. So the only map that remains that's, at least moderately open is Starfighter, and now they're going for it. Yeah, this is why I was thinking that Briton versus Persian matchup is not necessarily ideal for Britons. Persians have the cavalry bonus damage against archers. On the other hand, Britons have the halberdiers, plus Britons have the extra range. So halberdier longbow or halberdier arbalest can still work for Britons. It's a 50-50. But that might not be a good enough civ pick here for Leary. This is why I'm saying that you probably are not picking your Britons here to be 50-50. Alright, the game has launched. So, we're going to Starfighter. And it's gonna be two very different approaches over here. Byzantines versus Tatars. Welcome to Starfighter. Here is Leery on the left side, is Byzantines in red. That's the predictable Civ pick here, because you're gonna have the Fire Galleys out, and the Fire Galley bonus will help immensely at securing the water. The other side is a more interesting Civ pick, Tatars for Hera. The only major elevation on this map in most cases is this hill in here. There are some small hills, but most of the map is flat. But one thing that Hera could do here is Cav Archers, obviously. And it's not impossible that Hera might even try to go for a fast castle Cav Archer play. This map is really not figured out because there's a lot of elements to this. Am I like 30 seconds behind? Well, obviously, I jump into the game when I see the lobby. That's basically it. But, well, we can speed it up and catch up with it. I'm smashing the refresh button, and whenever, you know, the game pops up, I can jump in there. It's part of that is Definitive Edition having a tough time showing lobbies. Now we are live. Alright, looks like Hera is trying to block Leery's scout here. I'm gonna switch Leery back to green just because he was green for most of the games. So, we're gonna have Hera on the right side as blue Tatars, and Leery is gonna be green Byzantines on the left. So, the map is not really figured out. There is two pretty much individual patches of fish, and it takes a lot of time to get from one side to the other, as we have the two scouts taking some hits on each other. Hera does have Tatars, so Leery has to be careful fighting this against the hill, and so far Hera is the one that has the HP advantage, so Leery is gonna have to fall all the way back here home. And as I said, Leery probably doesn't even want to turn back and fight on a hill, because after the micro wars, every time Hera gets the hill advantage, he's gonna deal more damage to Leery compared to what Leery would deal to Hera when Leery has the hill advantage. So they would be trying to make a run for the top of the hill, landing and exchanging hits while doing that. And in the end, Hera would come out victorious from that, most likely. Leery is moving to the left side for fishing. Hera is moving to the right side. So in this matchup, I think Hera's best bet is a fast castle. The two players are so far apart on the water that Hera could easily get away with the fish boom. By the time Leery arrives to hit him, Hera could easily be fully walled and just go fast cast into Cav Archers, and that would be hard for Byzantines to deal with. Byzantines can go skirms, obviously, but Hera actions Rock Church. Wait a minute. We have a pause at 5 minutes, so I don't think it's a restart, like a standard restart. Let's see if it's an aM.Liereyy type of a thing. Anything that justifies an aM.Liereyy restart. Huntables are alright, berries are alright. Nothing seems to be trapped. The main question is that we have a monk in here, and the way that it's supposed to work, this rock church, is that once that priest is killed, that's where you get your trickle of gold. Or at least that's supposed to be the case. But it's not happening right now, and I wonder if that's the reason why this is paused. Because this could be a massive thing for Hera if he can control that rock church without, you know, Leery having the chance to take it because there's a monk out there. Not exactly sure if this is possible, because the concept here is that you kill the monk with archers, and then you can take the rock church, which gives you a trickle of gold. And you see that Hera already has a massive amount of gold in the bank, because that amount of gold in Dark Age is huge. Now, the thing I'm unsure about is if you're supposed to be able to... what is this? Okay, so there's a lot of discussion over here. Yeah, this is exactly the case, and thumbs up to Hera for that. Hera actually caused a restart on this. This is some massive shout out to Hera for this, because he was the one pausing and telling his opponent that, hey, I was not supposed to get this monument. So I was right about that. You're not supposed to grab it. And what they were discussing is that they were deleting everything before resigning because they want to hide the dock placement. This is probably the best way they could do. And yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, Hera even deleted all his villagers. Look at those dead bodies out here. This is probably the best way to handle this situation, and props to the players for handling it the way that it was supposed to. You didn't even need to delete your villagers, although you never know. The bigger thing is deleting the dock positions, because indeed your opponent might see where your dock is at, and that can be a clue. All right. I think this is the new game over here, so welcome once again, everybody. Liereyy is once again Britons, or Byzantines in green, and Hera is blue. It is not the same game, right? It might be. If they haven't launched the new game, okay, this is the live game. I just had to double check. The two maps looked very, very similar. Hera had his gold on the right side both times. Pretty well volable as well for both. Liereyy made his houses at the back at the same time as well. So I wasn't sure if this is actually just you know, a fake lobby that remained there because of a DE bug, or it's actually the game that we were supposed to spectate. But this is actually the map that we're supposed to spectate. So, retry over here. As you see, this monument shouldn't be capturable until the monk or the priest is killed. And that can only be killed by archers. The reason why this is done this way is because they wanted to avoid a scout running in here, capturing the monument, because that gives you such a big gold income. It's like 3 or 4 relics worth, that in Dark Age, that's basically game deciding advantage. Hera is sending out a villager quite early on over here to the right side to make his dock. We also have to consider that now that this was restarted, Hera didn't deliver the damage to Lierey's scout in this game like it in the previous one. Plus, looks like Liereyy is able to take 2 sheep away from Hera as well. So I think Liereyy caught the start a lot better from this one. So there would be a dock coming up for Hera out here. The reason why he's sending a villager that early is because it takes a lot of time to walk from the TC to this side. And it looks like the game is going to be different this time around, because Liereyy will go for the dock on the other side. Now, make no mistake, the players did not see what the opponent was doing, so it's not like they anticipated that, hey, the opponent is going to come to this side and I'm going to drop here. It's just simply the fact that in the previous game, it's almost, I'm not going to say it's random which side the players choose, but the players choose one side, and it's pretty much a matter of luck whether or not those sides are the same or different. This time it's going to be the same sides, but that makes life harder for Hera, because what I wanted to say in the previous game is that if the two players' docks are so far apart, Hera could afford a fast castle into cav archers. This time around that might not be possible because his opponent is much closer to him. So the fishing geek of Hera would be exposed quite early on. Ooh, I never knew there was a button here like for this. There is apparently a Fog of War button now. I did not know that. Okay, looks like Liereyy has found that boar over here from Hera, and I wonder if he wants to try and pick off a villager that's going for that boar. Liereyy is already all the way up to 6 on wood, adding some fishing ships. Both players at 19 eco right now. Liereyy already has his second boar in, I believe. He did not push in a single deer though, whereas for Hera he's pushing in quite a lot of deer. Wonder why. Remember, he lost 2 sheep, and that hurts really badly for the Tatars, because they also have their eco bonus related to sheep. But now, Hera hasn't taken his second boar yet. He's gonna be consuming deer for the time being. Already going for loom, so this is gonna be a faster feud age than Lierey's one, most likely. Part of the positive here for Hera consuming deer instead of sheep is that you get her faster from deer, so you can get a bit of an extra food for your feudal age, and that is a crystal clear feudal time for Hera. 3 seconds idle time only on the town center. And look at that, he did that without a boar. The reason why he still needs a boar here is because, you know, if he doesn't use that, then he's gonna run out of sheep and he will have to start adding farms earlier, and that's something that he doesn't want to do right now, so he's gonna have to consume that boar out there. And looks like it's just gonna be standard Galley Rush build order for him. Same thing for Leary here, and look at what Hera is doing. He's keeping his scout around here. He wants to jump on that villager when the villager opens the wall, although I don't think that the villager will actually open the wall. What Leary should do is make a dock here. It looks like he's going to change position though, and he's lucky Hera went away. Because Hera could have easily sniped that villager if that will actually opens up the wall and the scout is still around. Meanwhile, we have a scout scuffle on the right side, so Leary was thinking about sniping Hera's villager over here. Leary will try to take the hill, but now he's gonna have to settle with the fight over here, because Hera has a Feudal Age scout and Leary has a Dark Age one. Hera will take the hill here as well, and Leary will lose his scout just before hitting Feudal Age. That hurts really badly. The two players now know that they are on the same side, so we're gonna have fire galleys coming out for both sides. Needless to say is the fact that the Byzantine fire galleys will be much better than the Tatar fire galleys here. Alright, so for Hera, it looks like not only he is gonna play on water, we're also gonna have some land aggression shenanigans, most likely archers. You usually do archers when you do fire galleys over here. For now, Hera's gonna force Leary back. And for Leary, he's also thinking about adding a barracks. Now, here's the tricky scenario for Leary. He doesn't know what Hera is doing. This is why losing that scout early actually hurts really badly for Leary. He has no idea what Hera is doing, if it's archers, or if it's any kind of land aggression, or what. Whereas for Hera, he can still scout Leary, and you see, Leary is adding a barracks. Leary can't afford anything else wood-wise, so no archer range coming for Leary just yet. Currently 4 fire galleys versus 2. Demo on the way here for Hera. He's gonna need a big demo shot here because he's already outnumbered with the fire galleys, and his fire galleys are also inferior compared to his opponent's ones. Nice micro from Lear there, look at that. Look at how Hera is jumping back and forth, trying his best to land a hit on 2 fire galleys. Regardless, Lear is gonna lose 1 fire galley over here. He saves the other one for the time being. Hera is also gonna save his own here. Looks like it's only a barracks for the players, nothing else. Not an archer range. Looks like Hera's gonna try to pick that villager off. The villager could easily fight back. Hera's scout is heavily damaged, as Lear's gonna go for quite a bit of a walling over here, so he's scared about land aggression right now. Here come the fire galleys. One of those fire galleys for Lear is very weak, and for Hera, he needs to snipe that and then potentially disengage because he's getting outnumbered. In this fire galley wars, the key thing is not to lose a ship, not necessarily not to take damage. You can take damage, just make sure you repair that ship. Losing numbers is what makes this hard for Leary, who has now lost 3 units in this entire game. One of that is a scout. So far, Hera has a 2-0 KD on the water, and Hera is going for an archer range. Leary is walling himself up, but it's going to take a lot of time for him to finish these walls, and there's a very possible chance that Hera is just going to be able to hit that gold mine with 1 or 2 archers. Behind this one, there's a demo coming in that's kind of inefficient, and it looks like Leary might be able to disengage. One of those ships has 1 HP. He's going to lose 1 ship, and the other one is going to survive at 1 HP. Still, it's now 5-2 KD. In this one, Hera's gonna be able to keep his fishing eco alive. That's what matters, because you see, Leary is committing a lot more to water than Hera is. Leary has 6 fire galleys, multiple demos queued up, whereas for Hera, he only has 3 fire galleys and he only has 1 demo queued up. He wants to push on land. And the only reason why he's actually committing anything to water, as here comes a demo, nice split from Leary, is because the thing is that he wants to keep that fishing eco alive as long as possible. Lear's base is still wide open from the right and the left as well, and in fact, Hera doesn't even want to go for archers here. He wants to go for Castle Age. Leary is not far away either from that, because both players managed to retain their fishing eco, so they had a pretty decent influx of food. Here comes the demo. That's a beautiful demo there from Leary, and I think now is the moment where Leary is gonna win water. Hera might try to come back on water with the faster Castle Age and War Galley upgrade, but I think we're just gonna see triple range cav archers from him, forcing Leary to go for skirmishers. The thing with skirmishers though is that they don't have mobility. And if they don't have mobility, then Hera can just tear your eco apart. This is what's supposed to happen. The scout shouldn't be able to capture the monument in the middle until there is an actual, like, range unit that kills the monk out there. Hera will lose his fishing eco. Alright, it looks like it's not going to be triple range CA, it's just going to be double range. That's actually a safer approach here for Hera, because if he goes double range cav archers and goes for a stable, first off he can get bloodlines at husbandry earlier, but the bigger deal is that he can add a couple of knights in case his opponent goes skirmishers. Plus, of course, you might not want to fully commit to cav archers yourself when you're up against Byzantines that have the cheaper camels as well, so you might need some of your own camels. Here's a conversion from the Gaia monk in the middle. You see, Leary had a spearman around. I think Leary tried to check out what Hera was doing with that spear, but he wasn't able to because it got converted by the monk. And now it looks like Leary is sending ships to the other side. Leary believes that Hera is fishing on the other side, and this is why losing that scout hurts so badly for Leary. He had no idea what Hera was up to, and this is the one where he's gonna realize that, hey, it's gonna be cav archers. And the forward siege workshop is also on the way here for Hera. Leary is so far defending with skirmishers. Leary, I think, has seen the siege workshop foundation, part of that thanks to the Byzantines town watch bonus. So he knows exactly where workshop is coming. Cav archers dive in, snipe the monk, and now it is in the hands of Hera, giving him a very nice gold trickle. Look at that. It's like 3 or 4 gold per second. Hera looks like he gives up on water entirely and just goes for cav archers. Does have Botkin arrow. Eco upgrades are pretty decent for him, and he's up against elite skirms for now. And a monastery, interestingly. So Leary is gonna try to defend with monks against this one, at least against the initial knights of Hera that are meant to deal with the skirmishers. Although, at this point, Hera's just gonna play with mangonels and not knights. Left side TC is coming up here for Leary. That's going to be TC number 2. But I think at this point, I like Hera's approach a lot better. Leary's going to try to play an eco-heavy approach here with 2 TCs, plus he has the fishing eco as well. So currently, he's going to have an 8 villagers lead. But if Hera just plays very aggressive, he has all the tools he needs to break through these walls. And because of the fact that he has the middle, he's also going to have a very nice income of gold. Vol is going to be deleted here by Leary. Interesting concept, because that allows the cav archers to run straight in. I wonder if this is an intentional trap here, but I'm not so sure. Hera gets a nice hit on top of the skirms now. Skirms trying to run into the face of the mangonel, so the mangonel cannot take the shot. But now Leary's eco is under pressure, and now the cav archers will run into the face of the skirms here. This is looking really grim for Leary here, I'm not gonna lie. This is looking awful. Redemption monks is the idea here, but the moment these mangonels break through the walls, the cav archers can just dive in and snipe those monks. I don't think redemption monks work against mangonel cav archer. It would work very nicely against knight and cav archer, but now you see Lear's got a monk, but he won't be able to do anything with it because there is cav archers running around, and that TC might not even go up. The villager desperately trying to kill that mangonel. Even if this TC goes up here for Leary, I feel like this is going to be a proper doubt TC. Mangonel taking a shot. It's going up. The TC went up, but it cost Leary's entire eco to get that one up, to be honest. And was it worth it? Probably not. It protects the gold mine, but it doesn't entirely prevent Hera from denying it. So currently Leary has no gold income. Hera is going in with second town center for the time being. 7 villagers lead for Hera, plus the middle. So this is looking really good for Hera, I'm not gonna lie. As he's taking on the barracks now, somewhat surprisingly, instead of targeting the archer range or just trying to weaken the walls over here. And now Hera is actually sending villagers on this TC for stone, or at least he's gonna place the TC right next to stone. There's a chance that in the long run he wants to play Kashyyyk. Monk trying to get a conversion in here. Hera's gonna try to get a ground attack to hit the Monk. The Monk doesn't have Sanctity, so it's pretty easy for the Manganos to pick that Monk off. Leary will have to jump into the TC with the Monk, as Hera realizes that, and he's just gonna retreat. Knights are still around. And at this point, it seems like the Manganos are just trying to destroy the barracks here to open up the path into Leary's base for Hera. Leary is catching up thanks to the free TCs, but now Hera is also on free town centers himself, and indeed he's mining stone, because the next step is a forward castle into Kashyyyk. A castle here would pretty much make life impossible for Leary. And then adding Kashyyyk would help a lot against the skirmishers. Monk once again trying to come in here with the redemption. There is a conversion. Let's see what Hera can do to avoid taking additional losses. He microed his Manganos nicely to avoid the Manganos shot over here, as that is basically one Monk traded to one Manganol. That's still good for Leary. But keep in mind that Hera is just gonna play a very long game here, and this gold income from the middle is massive. That's the other thing. Monk trying to come in here, trying to get the conversion on the Manganol. So far, Leary has free TCs, Hera as well. Villager count is now dead even. Let's see if the Manganol can get a good ground attack in. Leary is doing a pretty decent job with the skirmishers. This is why I was saying that I think it would have been better for Hera to just use the Manganos to destroy the archer range instead of the barracks. Looks like another Manganol gets converted, and it was a beautiful ground attack as well. 3 Cav archers fall because of that. I feel like Hera is not being cautious enough with his Manganos, lets too many of them get converted. And that is despite the fact that Leary does not have Sanctity. And it would basically mean one-shotting monks with Manganos without Sanctity. To how many relics the middle equal? I don't know, but you see this trickle? It's really fast. Especially when Hera has 1 relic in. So I think it's at least 3-4 relics worth. It feels like at least 5 gold per second for the middle. It's a lot. Anyways, Hera's gonna have to be careful with the Manganos over here. He's not gonna lose that. And now there's a battering ram knocking on the walls as well. Cav archers will just try to snipe the monks here, and the Manganos will once again... Oh! Hera has to be really careful with those Manganos, as the battering ram is now gonna start knocking on the blacksmith, and this is where Hera dives in. He understands that he's gonna lose some Cav archers, but it's better to lose 3 Cav archers than to get 2 of your Manganos converted. Plus, getting rid of the monks allows Hera to keep pushing towards the gold mine, and you see that now that there is no monks, Hera can just push Leary off from that gold mine. I see camels being tagged into by Leary, and that could work against the Cav archers, but it depends on how many upgrades do they have. As a villager is trying to desperately get rid of that battering ram. The ram would be better used trying to take down the monastery, by the way, but at this point Leary is just not gonna have production buildings. He's behind by 13 vills, plus a relic, plus the middle area, and Hera is still on stone. He's only 4 on stone, so there is not gonna be any forward castle anytime soon, but at this point he's probably just gonna try and boom. Scale mail coming in as well. And I think he's now going to start adding either his own camos or just a couple of knights. Cav archers trying to pick off the monk, and they will be successful with that as well. 47 kills to 21 deaths so far. That is just looking grim for Leary. And if you look at Hera's resources, I mean, he's not extremely far away from Imperial Age. I don't think it's a good idea for Hera to go into Imp right now, but it's not like it's impossible for him to do so. Manganol is getting a nice ground attack in, but misses the target. One Manganol gets converted. The other one actually gets a shot on top of the skirmishers, however. Another decent shot here for Hera, as Leary's gonna have to rebuild his archer range to be able to resupply the front line with skirmishers. Meanwhile, another stable coming in here for camels. I feel like pikemen might actually be a reasonable addition here for Hera. He has double stables. I wonder if that stable was a mistake from him. Maybe he wanted to grab bloodlines and husbandry and he forgot he already has a stable. I don't know. Monk trying to come in to try and convert the Manganol will be unsuccessful, and a lot of those skirms go down again. Hera now has 2 monks himself, so he can heal the Cav archers between fights, which obviously helps a lot as well. And Hera is just going to click up into Imperial soon. Now 8 on stone. I think Hera can easily castle drop this, and Leary is going to have no tools to stop that. And then Kashyyyk would be a very nice addition here, despite the fact that the opponent has a couple of camos. I feel like Imperial Age Kashyyyk would still beat the Castle Age. The Bloodlines less Byzantine camos. Hera actually balancing his eco, and he's on the way to Castle Age. This is why he's withdrawing. So he's just waiting for the imp upgrades or taking into light cavalry. 25 villagers lead right now for Hera. Plus, he's got the Tatar heal bonus as well. Don't forget that. He has the heal bonus here. He doesn't have a lot of eco upgrades, missing Boso as well. He also doesn't have ballistics, which would obviously help against the micro of the opponent. As now Leary is coming in with quite a few camos. Hera actually, was that a delete trick or what? I think he just deleted that because he wanted to avoid the Mangonel getting converted. Hera starting to add light cavalry over here. Silk Armor light cavalry will be a very nice auxiliary force over here, as Leary does take the monument in the middle for the time being. But as I said, Hera is just waiting. Ideally, he's waiting for the imp upgrades. So he's massing cavaliers. Bracer is the name of the game. There is the castle that he needs. Very, very defensive. So he just wants to play a safe game. He knows exactly he's got the lead. And it's gonna come down to not throwing away that lead before Imperial Age. Now, Leary knows exactly that Hera might be on the way to Imperial because Hera started to retreat, and that's a sign that Hera might be trying to imp here. But Byzantine camo, as I said, 2 pierce armor with 100 HP only. That many cavaliers can just one-shot them and run away. This is not enough for Leary to fight this. The castle, it's gonna be a little close, but should go up for Hera. That would give you silk armor. Tatars also get Parthian tactics for free, so they'll get a bunch of extra range armor. Something that Hera hasn't started researching yet. You see, he doesn't even have the padded archer armor upgrade over here. University just now coming in for ballistics and of course chemistry. Hera is late with some of those upgrades, but for now Bracer is the priority. As I said, he got Parthian tactics as well. Ballistics should also precede the chemistry upgrade, and Hera's already doing what he does best, sending in light cavalry. Leary, however, is doing what players should do against Hera more, Stonewall. Meanwhile, Leary is moving up with a bunch of villagers. I'm not sure if that was planned to be a castle drop or what, because there was a lot of villagers being pulled, but Leary doesn't have the stone for a castle. Leary is also imping, however. That shouldn't be overlooked. The difference here is that Leary's army right now is Castle Age, and it's camos with 2 pierce armor against cavaliers that will soon have Bracer. In fact, they already have Bracer. They will soon have chemistry once ballistics finishes for our blue player, Hera. This forward siege workshop is still over here for Hera right now. 69 kills, nice. Against 37, that's for him. So, as things stand, we have Leary holding the hill over here. That helps him buy some time until he gets to Imperial. But I think at latest, when Leary reaches Imperial, Hera's gonna try to commit against that one. Big camo push here. As I said, the cavaliers will need to retreat, but they will still evaporate those camos if they actually just, you know, stay behind the light cavalry. The light cav will die, that's guaranteed. But that's not the key, most important thing here. The most important thing for Hera is that he's grinding down those camo numbers because the light cav are replaceable, and you see that Leary is about to lose his entire army just before the imp upgrades come in. Now, Leary isn't messing around either. He's got 43 farmers spamming out those cheap Byzantine camos, but obviously the resource retention rate of Hera's units are much, much better. So, like, the resource efficiency in general for Hera is just way better. The reason why Leary is not going for Arbs is because Tatars have a lot of pierce armor on their cavalry if they get all their upgrades, so Arblasts don't kill Tatar cavaliers. Anyways, looks like Hera's gonna use his mobility coming in here with some light cav, and I have to say that Leary managed to even this game out. I'm not saying that he's winning, in fact I think he's still losing by a considerable margin, but he's not in a bad spot compared to what he was in a couple of minutes ago. So he managed to reclaim control over the middle, so now he's the one with the gold trickle. He has a pretty formidable force of 20 camos. Now Hera comes in with the defense upgrade though, and look at this diversion. He sends in the light cav to the left side, forces Leader to send a couple of camos to fight that, and he uses this window to try and push the middle. Now, the light cav are still missing Silk Armor, I believe, and they obviously are missing the Hussar upgrade. So, looks like Leary might still be able to hold this hill, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the set, that Leary has managed to come back in a lot of games in this tournament, so I wonder if that's going to be the case again. There's an opening here, though, and Hera's going to do just Hera things. Send in the light cav. That's exactly what Hera does best. A castle for Leary to solidify control of the middle, but I feel like Hera's gonna shift focus, and now he's gonna just try to raid Leary's eco to death, and then take one decisive fight against the camos, trap this one down, and be done with the game. That's probably the plan for Hera. Here come the light cavalry, but he shows his intentions here by, you know, stopping to fight the camos. Not necessarily a big fan of fighting camos here. I mean, obviously, it's not like he has a choice, but it looks like he just bumped into some camos that he did not want to fight initially. Fun fact, with that castle up on that hill, it's actually possible that we might see Timurid Siegecraft from Hera to try and get the extra range on the trebs and trap it down from a distance. So, light cav from Hera got cleaned up, and as I said, Leary is fully evolved for the time being, so Hera couldn't raid him that much. That's the difference. It's pretty easy for Hera to close out the game once he can raid, and you see exactly what he's doing. Wave after wave of Hussar. And it's very hard to stop this, because you take some losses on the first wave, and then the second wave is gonna come in even stronger. There's an opening here, and look at this. Leary is sending all the camos to the left. I think Leary, with the free Town Watch, he's actually using that bonus really well. Look at Leary's vision across the map. This is disgusting. This is what Leary sees from the map. This is basically half wall hacks. He pretty much sees everything that's happening on the map. Hera cannot surprise him. So, Heavy Plow and Two-Man Saw coming in. Apparently Hera is taking some Nikov coaching in his free time because there is still no bow saw for him. And that's actually a very good fight for Leary. He managed to get some camos close to the Cav Archers, but the bigger deal is that the Cav Archers are fighting the skirmishers here, some more Hussar joining the party. Looks like Hera just wants to split the attention of Leary here though. The Hussar trying to get in and spread out a little bit. Now Hera has Silk Armor, so TCs won't be great at cleaning this up, and I feel like Leary splitting his army may have been a mistake, because now he doesn't have the big mass of camos to chase down Cav Archers with, and all those camos are melting. Looks like Leary is going for Thumb Ring as well, so he's gonna keep continuing with skirms, but you see, now Leary is down to 20 camos. Hera's at 19 Cav Archers, but the resource efficiency of these fights will start showing for Hera soon. Regardless, Leary is now moving in with the light cavalry, and I feel like the momentum is just disappearing for Hera. If this game goes very long, Leary is in a way better position, because he's got the middle, and remember that Byzantines will love to play in low gold situations as well. This is a Byzantine castle with 7,000 HP almost, as Hera's second trap was derping out a little bit. Hera needs to take this hill, because whoever controls this middle is eventually gonna snowball the game. As Hera's at 170 pop, Leary's at 192. Some light cavs coming in as well. Villager population is very even. It's the army population that's in the favor of Leary right now. Hera should start making Tatar hubs, by the way. Tatar hubs don't have even +2 defense, but they would still be resource efficient against those camos. And he needs to just melt the camos. So, let's see the fight over here. Skirms once again diving in. Leary trying to save that castle for the time being. The Cav Archers are actually able to pick apart most of the camos here, but the meat shield is just gone for Hera. No more meat shield, and Hera's gonna tap out. What a comeback from Leary, and I mentioned this before, that if you don't kill Leary, then he's just gonna come back against you. He has done that in this tournament numerous times, and this wasn't something that I associated Leary with before. So before it was always like Leary's playing from advantage and he just closes out games. But in this tournament, he has really shown that he's got the skills to come back from very, very ugly scenarios as well. And with that, Hera loses the game number 4. I don't think it was too early for Hera. Because if you see this, he's got 19 cav archers against 23 camos and 15 archer or 15 skirms as well. And I think this castle stays up because the traps go down. Hera would have lost his army here. And Hera knows exactly that he's going to have no army. And Leary would just run in with the camos and start killing stuff. This game was very likely to be over. Alrighty, so even scoreline, and this is where we're going to start going for the maps that these players dislike. Like, so far it was the maps from the map pool that these players liked. Now it's going to be entirely the maps that they hate. So, Yamsuf, then Holy City, and then Texcoco. The order could change. I think they will still go for Yamsuf first because they seem to hate both Texcoco and especially Holy City. Holy City would be an interesting scenario though, because both of these players banned those maps because they hated in the previous rounds, except for Hera who lost against Kasva on Holy City. So you might not want to make it last until game number 7 because it's such a bad map and both of them hate it so much that it would be so weird to have the decider game on it. So Byzantines are gone here for Lyri, and Tatar's gone for Hera. And let's see what the next game is gonna be. Looks like they haven't chosen a map just yet. So for Yamsuf, we have Persians and either Britons or Malians remaining. I think Malians is the better choice for Yamsuf. Texcoco is going to be an American civilization. Lyra is going to go Mayans on Texcoco. That's guaranteed because he wants the eagle. Hera doesn't have a civilization for there, but he will probably pick Burgundians. So Texcoco is Burgundians versus Mayans. Yamsuf is probably Persians versus Britons or Malians. And that would leave Holy City with maybe Teutons for Lyri. And something like Indians or Vikings. Vikings, actually. Vikings is the plan probably for Hera on Holy City. You can't play Malians because they lack Galleons. True. True. I think it depends. If you play Malians, you have to be aggressive. That's the key thing. Because Malians, their whole concept is that they are very good as a nomad start civilization. Late game Britons are much better than Malians at holding that choke point. Okay, we are going to Holy City. This is gonna be the first time I see this map. I'll take a half a minute break here to grab some water, and then we'll continue once they start the game. Alrighty. So, it is time for Holy City. Yes, it is. Holy Cup, Holy City. This is the map that the players dislike the most, and there is indeed a Teutons versus Vikings matchup over here. So, Holy City was only played twice in the entire tournament. So I'm curious why the people hate it, because I haven't seen that map. In fact, I saw it once, I tried it in single player, but I wasn't looking at it very extensively. So I really don't know why the players are hating that match or hating that map that much. But there must be a reason. Like something with the gameplay must be very, very odd or weird. So I might need chat's help here to figure out why people just don't like to play that. It's the one with the castle in the middle. There is You lose Gally Rush, you lose the middle. Ah, I see. So it's not very balanced competitively. Makes some sense. It makes some sense that that's the case. All right, 20 seconds from the spectator countdown, and then we will jump into game number 5. So whoever selected this map, I think that person just wants to get rid of it now. So as I said, the players don't like to play this map, so you could make an argument for trying to avoid it and just delaying it as much as possible. But you probably don't want to have it in game number 7 either. It was Leary selecting... No, it's Hera selecting a map right now, so... The idea is that he doesn't want this to be the decider game in game number 7, should things go that way. Welcome to Holy City. So here's how it looks like. First of all, I have massive lag spikes when I look at the middle. Okay, now it's good. So, it's a nomad start. You start with a priest, and that carries a relic. The relic needs to be dropped for a priest to recharge with the faith. This is something that TUS actually investigated in a video very recently, that in a scenario editor, if you spawn a monk with a relic, the monk won't have conversion power right at the start if he drops the relic. He needs to recharge it. So that's an interesting fact over here. It's a nomad start. It looks like Hera doesn't really have a great position to start with. Not even a single bit of gold on the horizon for him. Not a lot of huntables, herdables. He has an ox cart to explore with. And also a monastery in the middle. In the middle, we seem to have a couple of relics. And that's 21 relics to be precise. These towers don't shoot you, I think. And you need to get through the gates. But I think villagers cannot attack the gates. Fun fact, Lear is actually using his priest to scout with a relic. I'm gonna set him to green again. I see why players hate this map, okay? Since it's Dark Age on Nomad start, we will have time to explain why it is. I feel like there is just way too few gold on an outside for what could be a very stalemate map because of this water ring and this outside being relatively east to wall. I assume that the designer's concept was that you don't have mineable gold on the map, but you have to fight for the middle and take the relics. But that's not how it works. Because whoever loses the water here, indeed won't be able to get to the middle for relics, and the opponent will just have 21 relics. So, Doc is up here for Hera. That's the only positive I can say about his map, I would say. Lyra's base is even worse. To be honest, the closest berries are over here, and it very much seems like Hera is coming in to try and convert that will from Lyra. It's a priest that has 4 range. So it's the one that you would have on Kalimutu lakes you start with, which means that it can convert over the walls. And that's actually a very good start here for Hera. He forces Lyra's villager off from his dock, and now Lyra's villager has to walk all the way around. That must be so annoying for Lyra. He basically has one idle villager here, whereas the opponent has an untouched fishing eco thanks to that. So what are Vikings planning to do here? Obviously, longboats. That's it. Even if you lose the water in Feudal, I think the idea is that you just go back on water in Castle Age, and Hera is coming with the Ox cart trying to block the villager. So, nope. Looks like Hera is turning back. Hera is turning back because he probably wants to harass the fishing ships now. He realizes that this villager probably won't do much anyways in the next couple of minutes, so might as well try to harass the fishing ships. But it's very possible that Hera just wants to play a fast castle-ish longboat play. Look at all the sheep that he's got. He's got the sheep now for fast castle, easy peasy, I think. The sneaky villager here, I'm not sure what he's up to, but it could be very possible that Hera or Lear is just going to go for a forward dock here and try to harass his opponent. And for Hera, he picked up the Trollic, put it down, and now he's coming in to harass his opponent once again. Oh, Leary wants to trap it. I think Leary wants to trap this here. Oh, this shouldn't have been the thing. That was a mistake from Leary. He loses a villager now to the conversion. Leary now tries to trap the priest, but the priest is still supposed to be able to escape. Villagers will actually fight this one out. Yes, they will. Hera is going to fight this, and now he needs to turn back with the priest to heal his villager. Hera is smashing Leary in the face like crazy. This villager is also, I'm not sure what he's doing here for Leary, but probably won't accomplish that much. And Hera's gonna trap that villain there as well. Looks like this villager from Leary will be able to escape. He probably broke through the walls over there. The monk is still around, and it could start converting again. Bit of a mistake there from Hera, though, to miss micro that. That was ugly. That was ugly. Anyways, it looks like Hera lost the converted villager over here to the town center fire. Lost the monk over here. Meanwhile, however, Leary also loses his own monk, and now he's gonna lose a villager over here as well. Such a chaotic Dark Age. Such a chaotic Dark Age, but I think Hera got out of this a lot better. What Leary should have done here is when the priest was here, he needs to make the wall here and here. Doesn't even need to finish the wall, because the priest cannot attack. All he needs to do is just avoid having a villager converted, because if he makes a wall here and here, the priest cannot do anything against those walls, as long as there is no villager converted. So, well, let's say tile here, here, and then run back with your wheels, and that priest is trapped for Hera. Anyways, Leary, I feel like this Dark Age was just sad for him. Because at the end of the day, he lost one villager to conversion, one villager over here, lost his priest, lost his ox cart, and look at how far away Leary is luring boars from. You see now why people don't like this map here. Let's see what Hera is up to. He's taking herdables. There is a boar very far out here, something that he did not find, I believe. He still has his ox cart to scout around with. And he actually sees the boar. He could go for that boar, and it looks like he's going for a second ox. So I think Hera wants to go for a fast feudal galley play here. Let's see where he's getting gold from, though, because the closest gold mine he has is this one. He knows about it. That's the only gold mine he sees close to his base, so he's gonna go for that. Whereas, on the other side, Leary is slowly walling himself off over here with houses. Has a bunch of sheep over here that he scouted, but he never collected. He's gonna send a villager there at one point. But for Leary, he knows about this gold mine. That's the one that he's gonna go for. Alright, so Hera is actually much faster to feudal age compared to Leary. Probably the reason why Leary was delayed is because his fishing eco was harassed, and that's a massive source of food income that's missing from Leary's bank right now. He's gonna be a minute behind compared to his opponent, and that's exactly what the Vikings need here. Because Vikings don't like to fight in such narrow channels against fire galleys. What they want to do is go for galleys. And for galleys you need a bit of a time, and this feudal age advantage gives that much needed time for Hera. Here come the galleys, double bit axe also being mixed in for him. Hera stole the sheep. Oh yes, Hera is stealing the sheep over here. That's actually pretty massive as well. Not only will Leary potentially lose these sheep, especially because Leary doesn't have an ox cart to chase this with, Hera's also gonna gain some extra sheep, so he won't have to add farms anytime soon, and it's not really a big deal for him if his fishing eco is a bit more inefficient than Lierey's one. Meanwhile, Liereyy coming around with a villager. I think he wants a forward dock on the opponent's side, but that's not really gonna happen, and I feel like Lierey's gonna lose his entire fishing eco here to the galleys. Oh boy. So, 3 galleys out here. Galleys also deal a lot more damage to fishing ships than fire galleys do, so you can just snipe fish really fast over here if you are Hera. You see that Hera is not even going to bother focusing down one fishing ship here. He's just gonna send it in to the right side and start killing as many as he can, even targeting the villager here. The villager should be able to survive, and the best thing Liereyy can do is run for his life here. With the fishing ships, no fishing eco from Liereyy from now on, and that just starts to snowball things even more so, because fishing eco for Hera available and not for Liereyy means that Hera would beat Liereyy to Castle Age. Look at that. Hera was even trying to block that villager with the Ox card. Looks like Liereyy actually wants to go to Castle Age right away and go for Fire Ship, but with the amount of fish that he lost and in general the lack of food eco, I think that Hera is just gonna catch up as he's breaking down the gate with the galleys already ready to transport villagers. Ah, I see. I think he wants to have some sort of range or something in there, because he wants to control the relics, and from that point on, it's just gonna be relic warfare in this one. Looks like the galleys are still harassing Lierey's fishing eco. Lierey's got some fishing ships that are still operational, but thanks to Hera having wheelbarrow, thanks to Hera having the fishing ships as well, much more efficient than the opponent, I just feel like he's gonna catch up in Castle Age time, go for longboats, and win the water with that. As Liereyy had a sneaky villager on the left side, has a sneaky one on the right side. Neither of those are doing anything though. And what is... Hera's gonna wall in the Monastery of Liereyy, I think. Or just rush it down. I think it's better to wall it in, though. Oh, that's such a good move. Hera's gonna pull 4 Veils to wall in Lierey's Monastery before Liereyy could make a single monk here. Like, I feel like Hera is light years ahead compared to his opponent. Obviously, Lierey's gonna be up to Castle Age, but he only has 1 dock, and we're looking at 3 fire ships, or soon-to-be fire ships here. Some of them are heavily damaged. And look at Hera coming in from the other side. Hera's gonna smash all that fishing eco, and Liereyy just reached Castle Age. Hera's gonna click up to Castle. So, longboats will soon be on the horizon. And Hera's not gonna be able to, or Lierey's not gonna be able, excuse me, to pick up the relics. And from this point on, I feel like Hera's just gonna pick up all the relics in the middle, and that's game over. Lierey's trying to go for a forward siege workshop for what will be a monk and siege push here from this side. That might be hard to defend against, especially when you don't have a good stone mine, because guard towers would be reasonable. But I feel like that's not something that Hera has to be afraid of right now. Meanwhile, look at what Hera is doing. He's placing houses behind the gates, because the gates are the places where Hera can... or where Liereyy can break through, excuse me. I mean, I've been messing up the players for so long today. I'm also getting tired by the end of this stream. So, Liereyy is not gonna be able to get into the Holy City here, because Hera's just gonna block off all entrances, and from this point on, you're just gonna have 21, 22 to be precise, relics that's gonna fuel Hera's economy. And, by the way, just for reference, Liereyy is gonna have no tools to get in there, so in theory, Hera having the market in here means that he can forever buy resources, right? He can forever buy resources, keep his navy intact, and just keep the opponent away from the middle, and at some point, Liereyy will run out of resources in the exterior. So, Hera could technically play a 5-hour-long game here and still win, because he's gonna have infinite resources in the middle. You see galleys are taking out the only dock here from Liereyy. Now Hera's committed a lot to the ships here. He's probably just gonna get War Galley and be done with it. Now he needs to stop the land aggression. That will be done through a siege workshop. This is Hera's only TC. but the bigger thing is that he's gonna start grabbing a monastery and start making monks. Has some random farmers here in the middle of the holy city. Does the Temple of Heaven give you a trickle of resources? The answer is yes. Not only do the relics give you an amount of gold income, the Temple of Heaven also gives you a pretty decent gold trickle. It's actually comparable to what we had with the monument in the previous game. So this is why Hera is actually able to afford just rushing down these siege weapons. Because he knows exactly that it doesn't matter how many villagers he loses, he's gonna have infinite gold from the relics in the middle. He's not even picking them up, he's just going for the monument for now. That's enough gold trickle for him for the time being, and look at that, he's just gonna try to roll these siege weapons out here. It's gonna be a little bit difficult, sends another villager to try and rush that down. Some spears being mixed in by Liereyy. Hera has his own mangonel as, oh my goodness, look at that. 2 villagers here, 3 villagers in fact from Liereyy are gonna get trapped, although Hera's gonna lose a couple of vales himself, but Liereyy is going to lose the forward vales. Hera's down to 28 vales only, by the way, so currently Liereyy has done a massive amount of damage on him, but Hera, on the other hand, still has... look at the amount of vales queued up for Hera. This is the amount of food that he's getting just from fishing, and then he could still have the gold trickle, and he's now starting to pick up relics. He was a little busy defending here, that's why he didn't start a little earlier. Still, this is such a crazy map, and I understand why players don't like to play it now, I'm not gonna lie. It's because you lose the middle, you lose the game, pretty much. And if Liereyy doesn't get the middle back, he's got 0 chance. It doesn't matter if he destroys Hera in the outside entirely. Like, he destroys everything here, Hera will still have the middle, and Hera is just gonna be sitting behind longboats with infinite gold income. Yeah, Liereyy is actually putting up a good fight despite the circumstances, and he actually has a villager lead, but Liereyy himself has 2 on food, as the galleys are denying his wood line over here. No aggression from Hera on the outside at all. He's just gonna start picking up relics. You see, Hera is very distracted fighting this, by the way, because apparently he's not even looking at the relics. Right now takes down the Scorpion and now runs into the Mangonel fire, but the Mangonel is also going to be taken down by this Scorpion and the villagers. In the end, it's 1 Mangonel and 1 Scorpion for the opponent's Scorpion and Mangonel. Yeah, that's the thing, you can't destroy these walls. The only way you get in is through the gates. That's something Hera is guarding with his navy, and Hera is just going in with the relics. He needs like 5 more monks to pick up all these relics, because it's gonna take forever to pick up 20 relics. As things stand, Hera has a 1000 score lead right now. The blacksmith is being destroyed here by Hera's galleys. He didn't even bother getting Vorgalley or Botkin arrow just yet. Hera really needs defensive guard towers. If he gets guard towers up, this game is over, absolutely. Let's see, Mangonel takes the shot, misses it. Spearman defense as well for Hera. As the Spearman will now jump on the Mangonel. This is actually a very good fight for Liereyy. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Gets a conversion on a Spearman. Very nicely done there by Liereyy. But still, this doesn't change the fact that Hera's gold income will be so good that it's not something that Liereyy will ever have a matchup against. Yeah, the thing is that Hera can just keep buying his market. So the way that this is gonna work, if this game goes and it becomes a 5-hour long game, is that, yes, Hera has no mineable or choppable wood in the middle. But 21 relics plus a monument that trickles in a bunch of gold for you is enough gold to buy wood. Especially if you consider that the outside has very little gold. So Liereyy will be forced to sell resources super early, right? And because Liereyy is selling the resources, the prices won't be super high for Hera to buy them. And then Hera can just maintain control with longboats. Hera repairing for the time being. He's got a Mangonel coming out. He wants to wait for a second one as well. Right now, Liereyy is actually on stone with 9. I wonder if he wants to castle drop Hera. But in general, I don't think that Leary has played this map a single time. Kasva defeated Hera on this map, so Hera at least played this map a single time in the tournament. I don't think that Leary did so. So Leary might not even know how much behind he is, because it doesn't matter that you destroy Hera here. As long as Hera has a single villager in the middle and he has the relics, he's won the game. And now it's redemption, but as I said, it doesn't matter that you destroy this. First off, Hera has a lot of buffer space to fall back to. Speaking of that, Leary is trying to contain that. But the bigger deal is that Hera has infinite gold. Just look at that gold trickle. At the end of the game, I want to see how much gold Hera has gotten. Because it's gonna be like in the magnitude of tens of thousands if he gets all those 20 relics. Now he's got Redemption Monks to fight against those, so it's gonna be a little difficult for Hera to hold this. Gets a nice Mangonel shot, trades one Mangonel, 2 Monks, wasn't necessarily ideal. 6 relics right now for Hera. By the way, a monastery can only fit in 5 relics, right? So you would need to make 5 monasteries do this. Mangonel once again trying to come out. Monk trying to get the conversion in. The monks don't have sanctity, and that's beautiful micro there from Hera as well. Luring the spearmen into the galley fire, all the spearmen will go down and the Mangonel will survive. Meanwhile, spearmen are also coming out to try and snipe Hera's Mangonels. Oh, that's a delete trick there from Leary that failed. That wasn't a good delete idea, and now the monk goes down. This is why you always need sanctity when you have redemption. And Hera said that himself, so it's confirmed by pros. The thing is that it's very important to be able to just survive a Mangonel hit directly on your monk when you have redemption. If you don't have it, you don't survive a single hit, so the Mangonel can dive in, take a shot, and kill your monk with it. Hera actually wanted the defensive castle over here, but repositions it to an alternative place. The Mangonel gets converted, so this castle is in a bit of a danger here. Another Mangonel comes in. Literally just friendly fires for his own mango for the time being. As I said, Hera can pull everything he has here for this castle. Because he is 9 relics right now. Just look at that gold income, okay? And that's 9 relics. This map has 21 in the inside. Just for reference. So, Hera also has a 17 villagers lead, by the way. And now I see why everybody is banning this map. It's because, I'm not going to be harsh over here, but this is boring. I mean, Leary has lost this game 15 minutes ago. There's no chance for him. But even if he was actually successful pushing Hera, he would have little chance because the opponent has such a huge amount of infinite gold from the middle that it's ridiculous. I understand the concept of the map. So probably the idea of the designer was that, you know, you have little gold, so you're gonna fight for relics in the middle in this town. What should have been done for this map is to have bridges, just like Texcoco. If you have bridges, there has to be at least, like, if you have 4 bridges for the 4 entrances, then that separates this outside rim of water into 4 separate parts, which means that you not only have to win 1 big mass of water, instead you have to win 4 small masses to completely deny your opponent from entry. This is the problem here. That's the main problem. Well, that happened. I think everybody has now breath of sign of relief and just say, okay, thank God we are done with this map. So, Lear is gonna be down 1 game now, and this is gonna be his home map now. He has to choose between Yamsuf and Texcoco. Texcoco is basically a better version of this map, by the way, funnily enough. Like, this holy city is... This could be a good map, but it has some flaws in the design. Texcoco is basically what this map should look like. Alright, so it's either Texcoco or Yamsuf. Texcoco should be Burgundians versus Mayans, and then Yamsuf, I think, is gonna come down to actual Britons versus Persians, because indeed you might not want to go Malians there, or at least it would be a little bit surprising to see Malians on that map. Let's see if we already have a game or not. Looks like they're setting up the next game right now. And it's gonna be Texcoco. So Yamsuf, the map that could potentially end in a 5-hour long stalemate, is the decider game if Leary wins this. All right, so let's see if we have the game yet. So they are setting the game up right now. We should have the game in a moment. So how do Burgundians fare against Mayans here on this map? I think once Mayans get the plumed archers, Burgundians have zero answers on them. But we have seen how Burgundians can be devastating using Cousteliers a couple of times before in this tournament. So I wonder if this is going to come down to like a slower paced game from Hera with Burgundians. Try to play with the eco upgrades and then just snowball this with Cousteliers. He may have seen the games that were played. I think Yo and Vivi love to use Burgundians with Cousteliers. It was for graveyards, but it's also reasonable for this map because you have a lot of relics in the middle. So I'm gonna show you what Holy City should have looked like to be a more balanced map, because that's exactly Texcoco. Welcome. We'll have here on the left side in blue Burgundians, and right side is gonna be AM.Liereyy as Mayans in green. Texcoco has a lot of unique features, so let's talk about that. You start with an Eagle. This is basically the same stats as a standard Eagle Scout, but it has an Eagle Warrior skin. The reason why it's looking like this is because this can be attacked by the wild animals, and the wild animals are mostly focused in the middle. You also start with a siege tower in this one. The central pond is separated to 4 parts, so it's a little bit like 4 lakes in many ways when it comes to trying to sneak a dock up on the opponent or where you place your own docks. And there's a bunch of relics in the middle, 7 to be precise, plus a monument. And you also have 24 Jaguars that also heal themselves defending it. So the reason why you have that Eagle attackable by the Jaguars is because they don't want you to just jump through the walls with your starting Eagle and run for the monument. And here is where the Mayans comes into play for AM.Liereyy. The only unit that you can make in Feudal Age that is capable of getting to the middle and grabbing the monument is the Eagle Scout. Because, as I said, this is a special version of the Eagle Scout you start with. Your generic Eagle Scouts are still just not something that the animals will attack. Any other civilization, aside from Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas, will not be able to get to the middle unless they destroy the walls, but that takes quite a lot of time. Here, Aam.Liereyy can just make a barracks in Feudal Age, make 1 Eagle Scout, hop through the walls, and capture the monument for the gold trickle. So that's the idea behind Mayans. Obviously, Aztecs would be great here as well, but Aztecs are 99% banned in this tournament because all maps have a lot of relics, so Aztecs are deemed to be way too OP. So Aztecs are banned. Mayans sometimes get used up on different maps. And then we have seen some Incas being used here for the same reason. Anyways, looks like the Eagles are chasing each other. The siege tower from Hera will try to come in and help to block that Eagle, but that's not gonna happen. Either Aam.Liereyy is actually gonna stab down those turkeys. Poor turkeys. Feels bad, man. He's gonna be more than happy to do that, and he doesn't really mind losing some HP here, because if you keep that in mind, that the Eagles can be healed inside a town center, that's gonna help a lot for Aam.Liereyy. So he's more than happy killing 2 turkeys from the opponent, and I think he also tried delaying this boar over here, because his Eagle was suspiciously close to that boar out there. And you see that you already have the first boar in for Aam.Liereyy, and he's going for a second one. Whereas for Hera, he's just not bringing the first boar. So I'm tempted to believe that Aam.Liereyy tried to delay that boar out there. Hera is also going for the dock just now, quite a bit behind compared to Aam.Liereyy. So Aam.Liereyy seems to have caught the start a lot better over here. So, second boar coming in here for Aam.Liereyy. And as I said, he's gonna play water, But he's going to make a barracks so he can hop through the walls, get the gold trickle from the monument. That's the game plan, and Hera cannot do anything to prevent that. Now, Hera has gotten double bit-axe in exchange, so his economy is going to be pretty strong. And I think he's going to have to play Custaliers here to be efficient. His map is pretty well defendable, but that's not really a pretty primary thing. We're going to look at water fights at the beginning, fire galley fights in awkward situations. Because, you know, Mayans versus Burgundians is not necessarily the conventional fire galley fight you often see. The other unique thing about this eagle is that because it's just an eagle scout with stats, you might think it's not capable of killing animals. It can. This is basically an elite eagle warrior that had its name and stats changed to that of an eagle scout. And that also means that they can kill huntables as well, and you saw Hera laming one from Leary over there. And now the eagle is going to try harassing the fishing ship a little bit over here. And Hera's actually trying to block that villager from hitting the eagle. Come on, Hera. This is going to be the most disgusting harassment you've ever done. He's just going to hop into the siege tower whenever the villager gets close to hit. And look at what he's doing. He's blocking the villager from getting in there. And when the villager comes around, he's just going to hop into the siege tower, hop out on the other side. This is a genius move here by Hera. And the reason why he can do this is because Leary's eagle is damaged. Now Leary is bringing in his eagle to try and fight this one. Hera just needs to jump into the siege tower if he feels insecure. And he can just go back home or turn around. Hera is not done yet. There is Feudal Age coming in for Leary though. Hera is going to click up as well. A little bit later compared to Leary. Leary eating a lot of damage on that eagle. Once again, won't be able to fight back. And that just means that Hera can come in here to harass again. He won't be able to take down the villager. And now that the fishing ships are going for deeper fish, that harassment will probably stop. He can still land some hits on the fishing ships, but it's going to take too much time to kill those fishing ships. Anyways, a siege tower is in here as well from Leary, seeing what Hera is up to. And Hera actually goes for a second dock on his own pond, so it's possible Hera just wants to fish boom here. Whereas on the other side, Leary is going for a dock on the other pond. No aggression on water from either side. What's surprising me is that Hera didn't want to go for another pond here instead. Like, going double docks on your own pond can work, but that means that you defeat the fish very, very easily. And it looks like Hera was just trying to pick off that villager, do some more harassment, and now we will have Hera retreating. Leary is making the barracks. This is what I was talking about. And oh, I think I know what Hera is doing now. He's probably using the siege tower to try and block the path of the fishing ships and make them a little bit more inefficient. Leary will need his own siege tower, by the way, because he wants to hop through the walls at the beginning. As Leary will probably try to cut off the escape path of Hera, but Hera goes this way down south instead of crossing the bridge over here. Oh, the famous and well-renowned siege tower scouts are coming over. And this is what I was talking about. Siege tower in here for Leary. He's gonna hop one eagle scout through the walls, and that's gonna give him a nice gold trickle. Looking at Hera, he only has double bit-axe. He has had that for since Dark Age. But that's basically it. Leary now also has a double bit-axe, and it looks like Leary is gonna lose his eagle, and Hera will not. So that starting eagle is now gone. Leary will still grab the monument in the middle, though. There is the eagle scout coming in. Hera has scouted the barracks of his opponent, so he's gonna make his own barracks as well, adding a stable. But he really doesn't need to. So there is no need for units over here right now. Leary made one fire galley on this pond, but that's basically it. Everybody is just happily fish booming on this map. A third dock is being placed here by Leary, this time around on the pond in the south. So looks like Hera's just gonna play one dock, and he probably just wants to use the fish as a springboard for better castle age economy, and then we'll see what he does after. But it doesn't feel like he wants to water fight or to expand on the ponds, whereas Leary is definitely motivated to expand his eco a little bit more. He's behind by 4 vills, by the way, despite the fact that he only has 25 seconds of idle time. That's because, or about 25 seconds more compared to Hera. That's because he has gotten wheelbarrow. So the fishing ship numbers are relatively even. Hera with 8 and Leary with 9 right now. Okay, where is Leary at? Where did Leary leave his Eagle Scout? Okay, there it is. And you see now, Leary grabs the monument, and it's gonna give him a very, very nice trickle of gold. That's why Meso civs or American civilizations are so popular on this map. Because this is the only civ that allows you to get to the middle without destroying the walls in feudal age. And that basically means that you're the first one to grab the monument, you're gonna have a pretty decent amount of resource income from that. Hera, on the other hand, will click up the castle age a little faster, probably after this villager. And then we will see what he's up to. It looks like it might be just fast Cavalier because I don't see stone miners for Crustalier. Also grabbing Boso as he's going up. Market on the way for Leary. He needs to balance his eco. He is floating a lot of gold. And now the question is, what is Leary gonna do? Because Leary... Oh, Leary wants to do this. Someone did this yesterday, and I don't remember who it was. But someone did this yesterday. Use the siege tower to hop egos through walls. Now, the only place where Leary could really do that is over here. But 4 or 5 egos hopping through the walls would be a massive surprise for Hera. Dao did it to Leary. Okay, thanks for the info. Scout is now out though from Hera. And you see, Hera's burning down the walls. This is what I was talking about. A scout in feudal age should be able to beat an eagle in feudal age. So the moment Hera breaks through those walls with the fire galleys, his scout could come in to the middle and kill the eagle from Leary and allow him to take the monument for the time being. Looks like Hera's gonna scout the 2 eagles around here. Leary knows that his intentions have been revealed, so he's just gonna try to make it happen. And you see Hera's adding double layer walls. Oh, I gotta love it. I don't think you cannot not hop through there. There is a tree behind. It was Jordan? It was Leary versus Jordan. Okay, never mind. Never mind. It's poor Jordan who suffered from it. I see. Thanks for the info, everybody. Okay, so the walls are slowly going down here. Hera is up to Castle Age. And now, Lear is trying to find an angle to hop through. He could hop through here, but he would get trapped forever. And those eagles will just never get into the opponent's base. Feels bad, man. There's a random siege tower over here as well. Looks like Hera is almost done burning his way through, but this is what I was talking about. It takes so much time to get through these walls, and it's much easier to just siege tower hop, you know, feudal age ego scout through. By the way, Hera is not focusing a single tile of wall, he's actually focusing 2 separate ones, so this is actually extending the length or the time it takes to get through. Knights are already on the way though. Leary also up to Castle Age, and it looks like Leary's just gonna play eagles. Last time I checked, eagles die to knights, so I'm not necessarily a fan of this one right now for Leary. Here is forging as well for Hera. He's double stable knights. He didn't get cavalier just yet, so his knights are a little underwhelming compared to generic knights because he doesn't have bloodlines on them. But he's probably gonna get cavalier once he has a bit of a gold. The walls are open, so this is the time to shine. You gotta run in, pick off that eagle, and get the monument. You will obviously aggro the tiger, so what you're gonna have to do is run in with the unit that you are not really disappointed about losing, collect all the tigers, and delete the unit on the right side here, so that cuts off Leary. Remember that Burgundians benefit from the relics more than ordinary civilizations do because they also get a food trickle, so that's something that Hera's gonna be very happy about. And what is this? Eagle warriors here for Leary. He's not giving up. He's not giving up. He wants to break into the base of Hera, and there is a monastery as well against the knights. I don't think this is enough for Leary though. He's got 11 eagle warriors versus 6 soon to be cavalier, and the monks from Hera are coming in to steal the relics. Monument already in the hands of Hera right now, and we will have house walls behind. I don't think that these eagles have arson just yet. Here come the knights. The knights could snipe the villagers. For now, they will just jump back into the siege tower, but the siege tower is about to go down as well. I don't think that this is going to be an amazing fight here for Hera, because his opponent has +1/+2, and Hera has just +1/+1, no bloodlines. But he's waiting for Cavalier probably to fight this one. And once he has Cavalier, that should be more than enough for him to fight this. First relic is in for Hera. This is a decider game, by the way, if Hera wins it. So it's match point. Eagle will be taken down by the ships. Leary needs a win here to have any chance in this set. And for now, the Cavalier will retreat. I think Hera will probably heal the weak ones and send the strong ones back. Eagle's probably tempted to run in. As things stand, Hera is grabbing relic number 2. He's not going for the ones that are further away, so he's going for the safe ones first. And right now, he's just waiting for the chance to jump on those Eagles. Leary's on 3 TCs, by the way. Has a 4 villagers advantage. 3rd TC coming in as well for Hera. As Hera is now starting to mine stone. I wonder if he's gonna add Custodiers at some point, because those units were proven to be very, very useful in this tournament. Eagles will now start running in, but I think this is what Hera was waiting for. This must have been what Hera was waiting for. There is no way this was an accident. He opened that wall. I think he wanted to let Leary come in, because now all those Eagles are getting cleaned up. Yes, Hera lost a couple of villagers, but all that Hera wanted is to clean up all those Eagles. He actually got a conversion on an Eagle even. I think Hera lost 1 or 2 monks here, but he cleaned up like 10-15 Eagles. So now, you see it's 2 relics for Hera. There is another monk coming in here for additional relics. He still needs like 2 more monks to speed up the relic recovery process. There is still 5 more relics in there, which is going to be an insane amount of food and gold income for the Burgundians. Overall, there's a 6 villagers lead here for Leary, who is switching into pikemen now, as Hera's just going to jump the monks over here. The knight gets deleted. One of the knights that was getting targeted gets deleted by Hera. That's a smart idea from him. He knows that that was the first knight that came into contact with the monk, so that's probably the target of the conversion. You can delete it, and that way you avoid the knight or the cavalier getting converted. The cavalier win this fight in a decisive fashion. There is some pikemen coming in here to fight this one. A mangonel pops out for Leary. Not sure what happened there, but that mangonel shouldn't have popped out. And behind this one, Hera is bringing in relic number 3, and relic number 4 is already on the way. Some cavaliers will launch a counterattack on the other side. Hera behind by 6 villagers, but that will be more than compensated by the relics plus the monument. You see, his gold trickle is already massive. So, Siege Workshop down, Monastery down over here. There is Leary with stone mining, so I wonder if he wants a castle at some place. I just feel like, once again, Leary's eco won't be able to handle what Hera has if, you know, Hera just gets all the relics. Now, Hera lost the monk here to the eagle, but now the next 2 monks will pick up 2 more relics, and that's basically it. Leary has no tools of stopping Hera from grabbing those relics anymore. Leary lost the siege tower. If Leary had the siege tower, he could have actually gotten 2 or 3 more eagles in there just to snipe monks, but Hera's probably gonna be on 7 relics plus the monument that trickles him gold. Just look at his gold count go up, and you're going to see why I'm thinking that Hera might just be the champion of Holy Cup here with these maps. Leary, at this point, he's got 40 on food, but his unit composition right now is not something I'm really impressed about. Just pikemen and some eagle warriors. And the bigger deal is that his opponent is going to have a huge amount of gold. And remember that on this map, there isn't really a lot of mineable gold. So you see, Hera's mineable gold is already running out. There is some additional deposits around the map, but it's not a huge amount. So those relics will really buff you quite a bit. Leary is going to secure this right side over here, where most of his extra gold deposits are. Ecos are still that even. Hera hasn't made any effort to contest the lakes, by the way. So he's just fish booming on his own pond, which just ran out of deep fish. So he's gonna have to start making fish traps. But the big thing is that he never actually pushed any of Leary's ponds here. Cavaliers will come in with a counterattack. Obviously, Leary has pikemen to defend with, but pikemen don't have mobility, and I think Hera is just gonna start raiding with these. And with the amount of gold income he has, it's pretty much like as if these were light cap. They are replaceable because you have such a good gold income here for Hera. And let's see if he's gonna start adding Custodiers, because that would be an even better unit here. Custodiers would die a little easier, but their charge attack would be massive. And as I said, Hera just needs to sort of defend here, and he's gonna win the game because he has such an amazing economy right now. Lear is the first to Imperial. Hera will probably follow in like 30 seconds or so, as indeed Imperial Age will happen pretty soon. Keep in mind that Burgundian Vineyards, if he gets that technology, would give Hera the chance to gather a trickle of gold as well with the farms. So Hera would have an insane post-Imperial gold income here, as that is now officially 7 relics, all that the middle area had. Hera's gonna be 45 seconds behind in imp timing, and now we're probably just looking into fast podding from him. Look at that gold income. That's ridiculous. That trickle of resources is just ridiculous. Leary's gonna try to launch a counterattack, and he's attacking into pikemen. Burgundians could react to the pikemen with their hand cannoneers. Obviously, the hand cannoneers would die to plumed archers, but it's not like Leary has a lot of plumed archer production available, right? He's got 1 castle, so hand cannoneers could make some sense for Hera, but he's probably just gonna go for a 2-way push. He's going to pull Leary's pikemen to the right side, and then send in the stuff from the north. Leary, by the way, has a sneaky barracks forward over here by 1 villager. Only has 1 eagle inside though, and there is going to be the archer ranges for the hand cannons on Burgundians. The unit composition, I think Paladin hand cannon, one of the hardest to beat in Age of Empires, is gonna be amazing for Hera. Plus, of course, he's got an insane economy. There is a hole here that's gonna be plugged in. Hera trying to get some conversions. Is he making demos? Yes, he is. We know he was making demos. It was so expected from how he played today that he's going to try to use this opportunity. The demo could pop out any moment. It's gonna come in at the wrong angle though. Very disappointing demo there for Hera. Oh, there is an opening. The Eagles could run in, and that could cause some problems for Hera. He doesn't have the Cavalier here. He's trying to clean up the barracks with them. And now he needs to scramble for a bit of a defense here because the Eagles are in. Uh-oh. That's a bit of a problem for Hera. The pikemen won't do that much of a damage, and there isn't really a huge amount of Eagles in here, so 13 Eagles might be something that Hera can still deal with. But Hera's gonna lose some eco here, that's for sure. Still, even though the ecos are even, we have Leary with Halberdier now. That's gonna make life harder for Hera in terms of cleanup, but it looks like the TC fire is gonna help quite a bit. Leary doesn't have plate mail either. Wasn't the type of fight that Hera wanted here. He wanted to keep those bad guys out, but that wasn't possible. Army numbers are still pretty close as chemistry is on the way. Traps from Leary already coming in to take the castle down. Hera expanding to the north. He still has a group of Cavalier on the north that he's not using. Quick walls coming in here for Hera. I want to remind you to the Starfighter game though. Because on the Starfighter game, I kind of felt like Hera had a massive lead and then suddenly it just slipped out of his grasp. And I'm starting to have some similar vibes here. Because, yes, he has a massive economical lead from the relics and stuff. Yet, I don't see that on the field right now. Because he has limited map control, he's not using these Cavalier. And now his castles are being trapped down. And there's a chance he could lose this position as it is. He now has Cavalier, but I see fletching coming in. No paladins from him, no hand cannoneers. I kind of feel like Hera is a little bit stuck over here, and that couple of moments could be used by Leary to swing this in his favor. Eldorado for the Eagles of Leary. He just wants to play full Eagles. Remember that Hera needs to just stall the game out for now, and he's still gonna win because Leary will run out of gold. In fact, Leary's probably already low on gold. He's got some mineable gold, and Mayan's longer lasting resources also helps, as Leary is trying to come in with a sneaky push on the north as well, forward barracks. This will be spotted by Hera as well. Hera lost the castle on this hill. Leary is now marching up with Halberdiers and Eagles. Hera's just gonna go for the hand cannons. As I said, Hera just needs to play a long game here, and Leary runs out of gold. And then it's game over, because gold units will always beat non-gold units. It's a lot of hand cannons over here, quite a lot of tight areas where you could just sandwich all of them in, so that the Eagles can get us around. Lear's gonna need to switch into archers or skirmishers to deal with those hand cannoneers. That's the only chance for Leary. And that's why those paladins were dying, or cavaliers were dying so fast. They were even lacking +2 defense. Remember that gold units are starting to become expensive for both parties, so they will have to try and minimize their losses here. A little bit of a dancing around over here as Lear is trying to escort the traps out. He knows he can defend this, but tries to shield them from the Cavalier while they pack up and leave the battlefield. On the north, Hera actually market walls this one in, and also places stone walls, so Eagles are in here for Leary, but he can't really do much with them. He's actually going to delete that barracks so he can try to break out. Defensive castle for Hera will come in. And finally, Hera realizes that he's got some cavaliers on the north, and he's going to start using them. Shouldn't really matter much because the halberdiers are cleaning them up over here nice and easy. Traps coming in for Hera to take that castle down. Hera needs to destroy the castles because plumed archers could cause him serious problems. But Paladin now on the way. Padded archer armor as well. Blade botting now queued up as well. The dogs going down here will also mean that, you know, Lyra's lonely fishing ships that's still in this spawn is not gonna be efficient anymore. Yeah, this is gonna be a cleanup here. Hera's gonna have a solidified control over the north, and now he's counterattacking the south. If Lyra doesn't have plumed archers, I don't think that he can win this one. And Lyra is pretty far from attacking into plumed archers as well. He's just now grabbing Botkin arrow, ballistics. He doesn't have great numbers. He's at 5 right now, and he's about to lose 1 out of his 3 castles worth of production. There is going to be another castle being placed on the north for additional plumed archer production, but his opponent almost has a paladin in. Huge amount of hand cannons behind this one as well, and Burgundian hand cannons also have a bonus, so don't forget that. Plus, as I said, Hera is sitting on a massive amount of gold that he can work with thanks to 7 relics and the monument. At least, like, Lyria at least should try to get the monument, because that would compensate for a couple of relics. But now, Paladin Hand Cannon, a composition that's very, very hard to get to in a 1v1 because it takes a lot of gold to do that. But Hera knows exactly that he's got pretty much infinite gold here. In fact, he does have infinite gold. So might as well go for this unit composition. PC on the north coming in as well for him. He's gonna try to get that gold mine as well for himself. Blast Furnace only now for Leary. He does have Eldorado on those Eagles, and the Halberdiers also have armor. But I don't think that there is just enough here for Leary to fight this. This could be the fight for the game, especially because Hera commits to it. Leary doesn't want to. Leary is still waiting for the plumed archers so that they have good upgrades, but I feel like, as I said, the momentum is now heavily in the favor of Hera. He's just melting all those Eagles, and looks like Hera's gonna retreat for a brief moment, but he's still pushing Leary back here. Leary is now coming out with a lot of plumed archers though, and he's doing a good job sniping down the hand cannons. But is it enough for Leary? Probably not, because the infantry now is just disappearing from in front of the plumed archers. And every single plumed archer here lost for Leary is just massive. He doesn't really have the gold to replenish them very easily now, and more importantly, he doesn't have the production speed to replenish them. Leary's castle dropping the north over here, but Hera already crawling up with the traps to try and take this castle down. Still 3 castles worth of production for Leary, but it's 140 population for the green player and 192 for Hera. Hera's even getting murder holes. Not sure why. I have no idea why he's getting murder holes. Might be a misclick of some sort. I think it wanted to be siege engineers, right? That could be a wrong hotkey. Hera lost most of his hand cannoneers, but now it's 50 army versus 25, and if that castle dies, then Leary dies. This castle going down would mean that Hera can run into Leary's base. 7 relics versus 0, and I think that we are very close to crowning Hera as the Holy Cup champion. Burgundians don't have siege engineers, then I don't know what Hera wanted to do with that. Because he actually got murder holes, and that makes a limited amount of sense. It's not necessarily a bad upgrade, but it's a little surprising. Anyways, the leader is trying to commit everything he's got to repair that castle, but I mean, at some point he runs out of stone, but even if he doesn't, it's 60 army versus 26. We're talking about 28 hand cannons, 28 paladins. Good game, well played, congratulations, says Leary. Here is the deal. Hera defeating Leary 4-2 in the grand finals of Holy Cup. Leary had a very convincing run in this entire tournament, by the way. Played very convincing in all rounds. Won against Doubt 3-2 in the semifinals and now falls to Hera 4-2. Whereas for Hera, he actually almost lost to ACCM. And I think this is where we have to go back and give a shout out to ACCM, because this Hera, who now won 4-2 against Liereyy and is the champion of the tournament, was almost beaten by ACCM. So who knows? If ACCM gets a different opponent, maybe he could have gotten even into the finals. So congratulations to Hera over here. He is the champion of Holy Cup. He's getting the biggest portion from the $15,000 prize pool. I'm gonna double check how much exactly. It's $5,000 for Hera and $2,500 for Liereyy. Once again, thank you for Gamer Legion for hosting this event, and the event sponsored by Surefire and Surfshark. So, yep, thank you so much, everybody, for their attention as well. That's what I wanted to say. I was just distracted. I probably didn't want to include this last sentence in the YouTube outro because this wanted to be the stream outro. But yep, if you were watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And yep, congrats to Hera. Oh yeah, gold count. I didn't even check it in the previous game. Gold count, gold count. Yeah, 4K rally gold in a game that was 45 minutes. Not brutal, but if you add it to the fact that this monument also accounts for like free relics, then it would be a lot more than that. Previous game was even more. That's just something I wanted to check. But yep, Hera seemed to be a little bit more well prepared for these more unique / crazy / gimmicky maps, and he's the one that takes the trophy home